Acceptance of fourth MSc meeting minutes. Accepted by Daryl. Seconded by Sam. First report will be editor's report.
Okay, hi guys. As most of you know, MUSA manga, we have done compilation and we actually sent for printing to Network Press and yesterday afternoon. So they already started printing today. And over here we wrote 800 copies. Actually wrong. We actually chose to print at 750 copies instead because 800 is already more than enough. And we will plan to distribute next week around Thursday and Friday.
Okay, so for live streaming, it's started already, and I'm going to post the link on the MUSA Facebook page soon for people to come and watch. So for people who haven't read the email, it starts when the JetSec says MSc starts, it ends when the JetSec says MSc is over. We pointed at whoever is speaking, logically. Once MSCs are over, the only way you can access it is if you have a Monash email. Okay? If you save in a Google Docs document, right? And to access that Google Doc document, you need a Monash email to sign in. We will post that link to the Google Docs in our article so that people can watch if they want, but we will not stop our summary of the articles. And in addition to inform, if you guys want to discuss more, I do suggest that you come to us after the meeting or something because there's many 43 pages worth of reports today. So yeah, so if you guys want to discuss more, do drop by our office and we'll do the test run today. Yeah, that's about it. So any basic questions? Yeah.
Let's say somebody in the crowd asks a question with the
we pointed at the crowd.
The camera point at the crowd and point back at
so Sam's controlling the camera today. We requested to buy an actual webcam, an actual proper camera. I think that has a tripod mount. So we probably mounted a tripod, it'll be really clear, and that's only coming like next week or so. So
actually, I think I like that. Maybe because it's quite difficult for the microphone to pick up the question. Whoever speaking is very far behind. Maybe we don't have to. We just keep it straight at the front, lah. We don't have to worry.
Okay, the video is up to Sam. So yeah,
we just keep it straight at the whoever's talking in front. Make it easier.
And if possible, presenters, can you please stand like where the camera is pointing at, and please speak clearly, speak loudly, and if somebody asks you a question, and if it's not too long, just like try to repeat it a bit so that they can hear you. And if anybody has any questions, like people watching, they will comment, and
live chat.
I guess we can bring it up when they comment. Yeah,
if it's
appropriate. If it's appropriate, I mean, if it's bullshit, then yeah. Anything else? No. Thank you, guys.
Alright, thank you.
Wait. Okay. Motion to accept editor's report. Accepted by. Seconded by.
Daryl.
We move on to engineering's report first because they requested to go. So, Terry and Japan.
The song is good. Sounds good.
You guys can.
Hi guys. So basically the last time we presented our business paper, we forgot to include photos. So basically it's just, this is a photo of our buddy night where 167 participants went.
Why you guys squeeze the photo?
Huh?
Why you squeeze the photo?
I didn't squeeze the photo.
It was like that.
Then the next one also is Lima's photo. So this is the photos. We had 37 participants went. Okay, next we had our team building event at Skytrack. A total of 34 students went. Whoever that went, they enjoyed the time there. Although the responses was very slow, we managed to fill up most of the spots. But whoever that went, they really enjoyed it and they really felt that it's a really it's a very good team bonding event where they interact a lot, they motivate each other a lot, and there's a photo right below it. And everything went on smoothly according to time, although there's some hiccups with rain and the bus. Never mind.
Okay, so we had movie night on the third day. There were 195 students who attended and we watched Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, the slot was filled up in 1 minute and 38 seconds.
Which is a new record again.
I think that's all. The picture is done.
We shall see the picture down there. So, because everything went smoothly, so there's not much things to tell.
It was much better because we ordered the popcorn and all, so they can actually get it faster.
So everyone entered the cinema before the movie actually started.
And then the last one is, I think, what's the last one? Yeah, ITEX just went last Saturday. There were only 15 students who actually attended this event.
Basically, it's an exhibition of innovation and new technologies that are taught by primary schools, secondary school, and companies. Basically, what impressed us the most is there's this primary school kid from China who is just 10 years old. Hi, Dr. Wu. Basically, she sold her invention for 1,000. Is it 1,000? Yeah, 1,000 Chinese yuan. So we were just wondering, what were we doing when we were 10? This girl made her first 1,000 yuan when she was 10. Okay. Monash University had a booth there too. We took a picture, so it's down there. Oh, all of us got free Cheerios. Yeah, that's the Monash booth. Monash booth was quite successful because they won like some silver award, gold award. Yeah, for the booth design. Then some of the award is for the innovation that they make. So some of the presenter there they do their research in this campus itself.
PhD guy, right?
Yeah. Okay, next. Set 2 incentive giveaway basically it just ended yesterday. Where we successfully distributed all the donuts and cookies, and the 360 students that were targeted, we targeted 350, and the leftover 10 cookies we gave to our CMO, our athletes. So everything went smoothly. But one thing hiccups is FMD forgotten to put out a booth. So they just told us to use any booth that is available. So, anything else? Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Motion to accept School of Engineering's report accepted by
You say Sean.
Sean's there.
seconded by
Gerald Paul. Okay, thank you.
next. Next will be the President's report.
I've got quite an amount to cover, so I'll just go through as fast as possible. I'll just give you guys the gist of most of the things. The first one,
No, it's okay.
Okay, so the first one would be installation banners. I sent an email to everybody. So for all MUSA members and even clubs, if you guys are going to mount big banners, please make sure the supplier that you guys are getting the banner from is able to give you the installation of the banner and removing of the banner for safety reasons. Anything more than 2 meters high. Okay, I'll send you guys an email already, just for your notification again. Okay, so the alliance began in 2015, late 2015 and through 2016. However, the first meeting we had this year was in January, and we discussed that there will be two major areas that we'll be focusing on, merely events and welfare of students of these three universities. I'm skimming through just to give you guys the gist of it. So what we decided was to set up working groups. For example, if we're going to do 3 events, there's 5 of us from each unit to be the panel. And then there'll be working groups, something like our subcommittees, who will organize the events. So let's say event 1, event 2 will be 2 different working groups, and welfare initiative 1 will be another working group. In that way, we'll be able to cater to a more diverse sort of goal compared to just events only. So moving on, after the second meeting that was the same, and the third meeting onwards, MUSA decided to give up a lot of ideas with regards to our health and wellness week we wanted to do across the 3 universities. Then after a long discussion, it came to a point where the other 2 universities were not very favourable on the idea of organising events in the first place. So we expressed our concern that as a council, just like us, we do both events and welfare initiatives, but the other 2 universities were more, they expressed their concern that the Alliance Council should only do welfare initiatives and not events at all. So we were discussing, and then we had a long constructive feedback session, and on the 2nd of May, the Alliance, so before that, just about a week before that, the 3 presidents sat down because it was becoming very toxic within the Alliance Committee with regards to what our goals were and why we formed and all of that. We of course tried to relate it to the fact that we are serving the three university students, but none of the Alliance panels, 15 of us, would come and get along well. So on the 26th of April, the 3 presidents sat down. I sat down with Sanvi and Taylors, and after that, we discussed on the pros and cons and all of that. And on the 2nd of May, we had a constructive discussion, and the conclusion was, in summary of all of that, is that we have decided to disband the alliance. Okay? Nobody has any question. Okay.
Can I ask, what's the difference between event and welfare initiatives?
Okay, so event is, let's say, like Alliance Music Festival. Welfare initiative is like lobbying for free parking in BRT. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So like you get the
so
2
we're
different
more
scopes.
the whole idea was really more to become like an activist group sort of.
Yes. So it becomes more of a activist group, so to speak. Okay. So there are 4 main reasons why we could not save it in a way is the varying periods of holding office. So for Monash, MUSA, we start on the 1st of January to 31st. For Taylors, it's from, if I'm not mistaken, May to May, and from Taylors, it's from September to September. So every term is like experiencing 2. So I will experience 2 Sundays and 2 Taylors at the same time. Okay, different goals. They wanted more of a welfare only. We wanted activities and welfare. Different resources strengths. So we are both financially and manpowerly or human resource. We are more stronger. So with regards to that, there is a disparity and different ideas on what alliance should be. Okay. So the conclusion is to disband the alliance, but continue close ties with the university with regards to collaborations individually. Anybody have any questions?
In the previous, at least the initial start of the alliance, were these issues talked about?
With the 4 things.
Yeah.
I believe.
And whatever issues that's going on, did they talk about it? And then did they
I
consider it?
believe the 4 issues were identified because it's very, very clear.
Yeah.
However, what I think, I'm not sure what transpired, but I think the Alliance Music Festival was sort of a kick-off point to show that we can work together.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, we had another event called Alliance Talent Time.
Yeah.
But Sunway and Taylors both being more seniors compared to me because I just joined, they had joined the year before. They said that it's just to fill out the, because it looked too empty because it's the Alliance Music Festival and the other half will be empty. So Talent Time was to fill that void. But I'm not too sure what the discussion was. However, these issues are really evident and this is why we couldn't move forward. Yeah. Okay? Alright. MUSA Forum inquiry. Sorry. Yeah.
Are we going to release the standard report?
Yes, after today. I just wanted to get you guys to know this first. Okay? MUSA Forum inquiries. So an Excel sheet, some of the departments who were very involved in the concerns that the students raised. For example, like welfare was one of it, CNS was one of it, VPs were one of it, and a lot of the other university units like LLC and ITS. I've created an Excel sheet and sent to all the directors of the university as well as the heads of the department of MUSA, which is welfare, CNS, and VPs. These are 3 departments that were questioned now. So I'm waiting for the update from MUSA side as well as the university side. The deadline is on the 30th of May. Okay. then I will be able to provide a holistic explanation of the MUSA forum on our social media platforms once I get the update on 30th. Okay?
Wait, updates about like we are posting questions.
Now, because there were questions raised during the forum, so we are posting updates on whether it's feasible or not.
Oh, okay.
What is
okay.
the progress of
Yeah.
it and stuff like that.
I thought it was like we are asking more questions.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Until we settle all the questions
Yeah.
there, we move on to the next one later. Okay? Alright, next. Okay, so last Friday we discussed about some of the initiatives that I have considered over the past 5 months. Now, what I have looked into this is it's not a 1 week thing or a 2 week thing. Okay, this is a 5-month thing. So we discussed last Friday with regards to the pros and cons, and all of you guys gave very constructive feedback, which I have taken in and I have amended where necessary for you guys to endorse. Now, I just want to remind you guys that this is what it is. If you all disagree, it's fine. If you all agree, it's fine. Okay? But there will be not much of discussion about it. I'm going to run through all obviously with you guys. But it's all discussed last Friday. Okay? And there are 2 reasons why things change, an organization change. Number 1 is if you are at ground level and you get sucked down to, let's say, 2 or 3 steps, you change to get back up to ground level. And there's another reason why organizations change is from ground level to 2 or 3 steps up. So let's hope to go from ground level to 2 or 3 steps up and not wait until we get dragged down to change. Okay? Just to give you guys a heads up. Alright, so these are the committees that we already have in our constitution. But what I'm doing is implementing and putting context into that. We've got the first 5, the second 5. The first one is the one that we don't have, which I'm planning to set up. All committees to provide an agenda before the meetings and a report after the meetings of these committees. The president is a de facto member of all committees. Okay, so I'll give you guys just a summary of this. So the election committee provides the blueprint to the MSC to endorse and gets the returning officer to execute the blueprint. Okay, in no way is the election committee going to interfere during the elections, but they are merely providing the blueprint for the MSC to endorse. So we hire the RO to do the job for us during the elections. Okay, now it's aimed at increasing the participation rate of students. Right now it's only 25% of the population vote. To meet every 4 weeks to a minimum of 2 times in semester 1 to plan out the election, which will be in semester 2. And once the report is submitted to the MSC and endorsed by the MSC, the election committee will no longer be required to be meeting. Okay? The committee is not being involved, like I said, and there are 5 members of this committee: the GenSec, CNS secretary, MUSA secretary, and 2 other members selected by the MSC. Okay? So I've taken all your concerns with regards to the timing, how many meetings, what is the reason for the committees, who sits in the committees, and so on and so forth. Okay, next one, budget committee. To prepare the consolidated budget in the beginning of the year, because in the beginning of the year, each department will provide a budget in isolation. So the budget committee has to sit down and compile all the budgets and come up with a budget that we can table to the university. Okay? To consolidate the expenditure throughout the year as well of office, so they will meet periodically during the year to be able to propose to a department which has a lot of money that, hey, you have a lot of money, unless you have other events or initiatives, would you please forward it to maybe another department with not having enough money. Okay? To meet as many times as required before the budget is given to us, and then from us given to the respective portfolios. Because like for me, Brandon and Misha, we met almost every day before the budget was approved by the university. So to meet as many times, and to meet 1 time in semester 1, 1 time during the break, 1 time in semester 2, and 1 time in the summer when you close. So the reason why meeting 1 time in the semester is just to make sure everything's okay. 1 time in the winter to make sure that which departments are suffering because they're not having enough money, to propose a reallocation to be put for those departments in semester 2. Okay? Committee consists of 5 members: CNS Treasurer 2, MUIS Treasurer 1, and MUSA Treasurer 2. Okay? Next one is Activities Advisory Committee, to have an oversight on major activities on campus, to provide feedback and advice, enable broad planning, and making sure everybody is in check with their timing and their submission of documents and whatnot. to meet every 2 weeks before the semester. Now all these meetings do not have to be physical meetings, it can be virtual meetings as well. To meet before the semester and every 2 weeks during the semester up to week 10. Because I'm not considering week 11 and week 12 because we also have to study. But week 0 to week 10. And as the weeks go by, the meetings will become shorter because obviously in week 1 you've got planning for a lot of events. But as you go to the last meeting, it will be lesser and lesser things to discuss. Okay? Committee consists of 10 people, MUIS Division 2, CNS Division 2, Activities Chairperson 2, and 4 other members selected by the MSc. It can be anyone. Okay?
CNS and CNS, MUIS,
anybody from they think is relevant to this portfolio. Okay.
What events will this cover? Major events, what is the definition of major event?
Okay, major events. See, I can't say level 3 events are major, level 2 events are not major. But what I mean by major is that it requires extensive coordination with the university, with outside like MPSG and all of that, and so on and so forth. So it could be a level 2 event, but it requires a lot of coordination. Or it could be a level 3 event which requires a lot of coordination. But if it's just, let's say, one MUSA department, or let's say one MUSA and just one uni department, then I wouldn't say that's a coordination. But if it's with FMD and securities and MPSJ and all of that. So examples of this, I'll give a few examples is Monash Ball, MCN, Monash Cup, let's say music festival, some rave and all of those kinds of things, some runs and all of that. Okay, just to make sure that everybody's in check and they don't get sidetracked by anything. Yes?
So then basically the AAC right now you're taking towards moving to other departments, like not just activities but other than just including CNS also
yes, the 6 members are compulsory. So CNS, MUIS and activities, because these are the major event planners, and 4 others who are by voluntary basis.
So basically the AAC right now, for now with this new plan, you guys are planning to make it towards like all gather their resources, discuss and to make sure that there's no clashing of events like
Yeah, that's one of the aims. But let's say 10 of us are sitting down. Okay, so we discuss what are the big 5 big events we want to do in semester 1. Let's say it's music festival, MCN, run. Let's say 3 big events. So then the committee will say, okay, which one of you would like to take charge of this? So obviously MUIS will want to take MCN. So what I'll use MCN as an example. So that representative of MUIS will go to their committees, their MUIS committee, and discuss on where they want to do it, when they want to do it, and all of those things. And then they'll come back in the next meeting and say, okay guys, I've discussed with my committee, this is our proposed plan, when is it, where is it, what do you guys think? And then, so it's still operationally MUIS's task, it's just that this committee will be able to provide timelines for all, let's say 5 events, like okay, by week 2 you need to do this, by week 4 you need to do this. So every time you meet, you must make sure that, because I'm proposing an update, everyone's giving an update, you don't want to be the only one who's not with an update or lagging behind. So we'll all kind of check and balance one another. Okay.
Would there be enough people from CNS division? Because they're like, so far all the committees CNS division has been part of it. So will there be overlapping roles and would that be?
Okay, on average, I counted there's 50 nomination, but 50 members in the committee all sum up. But there are there's 52 members total. So on average, there should be enough.
Okay.
But
Just check
the exact number.
Better just in case.
Is this
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Movie night also is not just by CNS but is by a club organized. It's the one that goes the voting. So if let's just say a student initiative is a very big event itself, how are they supposed to be?
Okay, so because of the VP who has a student initiative event, which are most of the time major events, right? It is highly advisable that the VP sit in it as well. But let's say they are not in this 10, right? That activities advisory committee will realize that this one big event is coming up, or the VP can tell that this is one big event. If you press it in for that meeting just to ask everyone, is that okay, and stuff like that. So it's quite flexible and whether you want an advice or not. But these ones are the sure ones already. For student initiative, it is likely to happen, no doubt. So in that case, it is highly recommended that the VP sit inside.
Depending on which event.
Depending on which year also, like because each year is different. Yeah.
So,
But if they would like advice, they can always ask like the advisory.
let's just say like all four VPs not constituted. Let's say just so happen 4 members and one of them is not the VP.
Okay.
And let's say I'm a student and I take a student initiative, can I still be part of the like subsequent? Can we invite me to be part of the committee to make sure that everything is going on?
Okay.
Fine?
So if it's a student initiative, you automatically be under the VP will be under.
Yeah, just so happen let's say VP is not inside because it's not stated.
So the VPs can request to just sit in for that meeting or just meet in for that few meetings and stuff like that. So it's quite flexible. It's quite flexible. And if let's say it's a student initiative, like Vandana could bring a student and like okay, we'll go sit down and just ask opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Is this compulsory for all the big events, or can they opt to not go through the committee?
Now, if it's big events and it's a lot of coordination required and a very strict timeline is required, it is compulsory to go through it, so that we are all kept in check. It also eases Mrs. Eva's job with regards to just liaising with this person who can keep in all track on everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Alright. Move on to the next one. Media Admin Committee to provide broad guidelines on publishing and distributing of media material, to put forward initiatives to expand our reach, to meet once every 4 weeks, with the exception of prior to the semester. Once every 4 weeks, to minimum of once every 4 weeks. And meet as many times as required beginning of the semester for the orientation booklet.
Yeah.
And this committee consists of 10 members: GenSec, publicity officers, editors, police division, and CNS division.
Orientation booklet already.
Because no, as in this is the beginning of the semester.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this media administrative committee is only for the orientation booklet?
No. The reason why I put the orientation booklet specifically there is because I'm saying is to meet with the exception of, because every time they meet 4 weeks, right?
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
of the exception of that alone, you need to meet more than that prior to the semester.
Yeah,
Does that make any
that's
sense?
good.
Will this affect manga?
Yes. It may affect all publications.
Okay, Facebook pages, how?
Facebook pages as in, no, Facebook pages would not, right?
It says
No,
social media.
Social media platform. So
The first sentence.
Okay, so what I mean is because we provide broad guideline publishing, right? So once you provide a broad guideline already, you have to work with that bandwidth until the next meeting where unless you're planning to change something. So as long as within that bandwidth, let's say for example like putting up posters or whatever, you don't have to go through the media admin committee because you already made it very clear that the broad guidelines are to publicize events or to post events when it's nearing to the date or something like that. So you operate within that guideline.
Is this only related to MUSA division, MUSA portfolios, or is it also related to normal students as well? Because we provide guidelines for us internally to use, or for like because everybody has their own Facebook page.
No,
So
as in like schools,
clubs, clubs, clubs.
Oh no, not for clubs. It's
So
just
it's
for
only for MUSA only, lah.
primarily because it has come to my attention that according to Malaysian law, that we can actually get misinterpreted with regards to our media distribution. So we have to be very careful, not say very careful, but we must be aware of what we distribute. So with proper guidelines, we'll be able to know that.
Will somebody be overseeing this in terms of like the legal perspective?
Okay, so once this is all set up already, for those which need more of an expert opinion, I'll be able to get some perhaps like a legal perspective into this as well.
Yeah, because that would be because we as students also we don't
We wouldn't know.
Yeah, so we kind of like
Okay? Yes. Sorry. Okay, is it better now? Okay. Next one is Education Affairs Committee to put forward initiatives and organize events that expand the learning experience of students, discuss matters pertaining to APC, which can be raised to CECs and AAB, which is the VP sitting, which are the ones that the VP sit in. To meet once every 4 weeks during the semester, advocate and uphold student education rights. This committee consists of 9 people, 2 vice presidents, and 7 people from each school. I mean, 1 school representative per school. Okay, this is quite clear. Next one. Welfare Affairs Committee to put forward initiative and organize events that cater to the physical, mental, social welfare of students, to look into advocating women's rights and also facilities on campus and eateries and all those kinds of things. To meet once every 3 weeks. This committee consists of 10 members, which include welfare officers, women's officers, MUIS Division 2, dedicated to the international welfare, as well as 4 other members that selected by the MSc. Okay. Anyone has any questions? Yes. Yeah.
No, you did the selected by MSc itself. How do you guys are going to begin?
Okay. No. So remember so every year there's like 5 or 6 committees at the university where we have to nominate somebody to sit in those committees. So what happens is that it is not that certain portfolio. Like for example, it's not LLC's committee is not welfare owned. It's just that normally welfare sits in it. So it's to the discretion of that welfare officer next year whether he or she wants or does not want to sit in it. So just like that, we will just ask this, like how we determine for every other university committee that who would like to be part of this, because these are major portfolios in education and welfare and activities and stuff like that. So it enhances the personal portfolio of the member as well. Okay?
So by default, every MUSA member will be part of something.
On average, yes. On average, yes. Okay, so I've already explained this. As you can see, I've taken into account virtually everything. And yeah, I would like to run a motion for this. Okay, Bianca, you want to call for this?
Motion 5, and for MSc to accept the implementation of the committees as above from 2018 onwards. 4.
Actually,
1, 2, 3. Sorry, sir?
the
Yeah,
election.
guys,
Just because this only happens next year, right? How about the election committee?
Okay, the election committee is the one that will be for this year only.
Oh, okay.
Because it sort of affects next year,
yeah,
right? So it has a spillover effect.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys, again.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Against?
1, 2, 3. 3.
Abstain?
1, 2, what are you going to call it?
Sorry.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, next one.
Motion is carried.
Okay, so this is the proposed new MUIS structure to provide clear representation and projection of identity to students and to the community. Because I think over the past years, I'm not sure what happened, but there's a bit of a blur line between how MUIS is in MUSA and stuff like that. Okay, so I think this year we made it very clear how it's done. I've discussed this with MUIS already. So this is the proposed structure: head of MUIS 2, secretary 1, treasurer 1, country representative officer 1, ISO 1. ISO is international student officer.
5.
Oh sorry, ISO is 5. Sorry. So ISO is international student officer, and the ISO, what they will do is they will look into the unique welfare of the international students to see whether they need to organize any event, because they do have country reps as well, but events like MCN and all of that, to look at getting the content of the international student out there, to publicizing, and yeah, that's basically. So there are about 4 or 5 major portfolios that these ISOs will conduct together as a team. Anybody got any question? Yes.
This has already been discussed with this, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it okay to ask,
Yeah. This is discussed with.
I mean, because a lot of us we are not part of. We're not very involved with it, so we want to have. I feel a lot of people want to
Okay. The major change in the number is basically for the editors and decrease in publicity. And the reason being that next year, ideally, we will be working closely with the MUSA editors and publicists. So, having said that, they will be helping us with the publicizing and implementing materials. That's why we will do that. And yeah.
You said
They don't face the same issues as the local students, but looking at this, the main reason for this is because they have to go home, when they are having their summer break. So there is a difference between when they can come back, and because they have to be at home as well, right? So with having two heads, it sort of balances the workload with regards to that. Because it's not fair for one person to come and like take the credit and stuff like that, right? So I'm not going to go into details, but there have been a lot of issues with regards to how it has been structured, and this has affected this year significantly. Of course, they've worked on it very well. Mohsin has handled it very well, and Afisa as well. But these are structural ones that they can't break out because of what it is being passed down and inherited to them. Now, with regards to, so secretary doesn't change, right? Treasurer, the reason why from 2 to 1 is because it's entirely dependent on whether the country representatives are under them. So there's about like 15 country reps, right? Okay, 20 country reps. So the 20 country reps are the ones that have the most workload for the treasurers because they organize events and stuff like that. If you eliminate the country reps alone, one treasurer for that division would be sufficient. Now, there's a bit of an issue on how the country reps work. The country reps are actually under ISS at this point in time, and like 50% under MUIS as well. So I worked with Mohsin and the other MUIS members to identify, can the country reps be entirely under MUIS or not? Because it's a student and it's better if they are under MUIS portfolio entirely. If the country reps are to be under the MUIS portfolio entirely, 2 treasurers is definitely what they need because there's a lot of many of them. Okay? But right now, based on our latest information even to today, the country reps are now completely under ISS and funded by ISS as well. Right, Mohsin? They just need somebody to work with MUIS. ISS does not want to be, they feel that the country reps are not ready to be adopted by MUIS itself. Yeah. That's what.
For now, it is like this will be the future.
This affects next year only.
No, I'm saying for now. You're saying for now.
No. I'm talking about sorry. In the future, it's not going to be funded by MUIS. Yeah. So for this year, it's 2. Yeah.
So this next year, country reps events like Sri Lanka New Year, like all this kind of restricted night, is it funded by ISS or funded by MUSA?
From our latest update, it's from ISS.
For next committee onwards.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Can I know what happens to the MUIS editors? I mean, did the MUIS editors agree on this? Like, what happens to the MUIS editors?
Yeah.
No, they are okay with the idea of, I don't know if you guys are aware of the idea of combining the magazines. No.
Okay. So, what I spoke to all of them already, and the editors say that they are more than willing to combine the magazines together. But whether like the online blog and all, I didn't get into that details. Yeah. But with regards to the ISOs, right, there will be 2 of them, one of them producing content and the other one perhaps doing photography as well, to add to the official one magazine, and also for their own content and stuff like that, to provide an international touch to it.
Right.
So the ISOs are sort of the 4 portfolios merged together, which is welfare, activities, publicity, and editors combined. It's just that from 8 is now 5, and the position is renamed from MUIS welfare, MUIS activities, MUIS publicity, MUIS editors to international student officer.
In your current MUIS budget, you budgeted from IMA, right? So it's already budgeted inside. So if they were to combine with us, with editors, does that mean that the editors would have to increase their own budget?
Okay.
Is that possible?
This is with regards to 2018 onwards, right? But if we can approve this, okay, with of course MUIS's approval, if we can approve this, we can move to the next step of, because semester 1 is done already, so we can't do anything. So we can work on semester 2 to provide the foundation for all of this. And then, for example, that's a very good question, right? Because there's MOGA and MIMA budgets. So if next semester, let's say there's only 1 magazine, then it is if it's not enough money, then you will have to combine. But that will have to be, you have to put in place initiative throughout the semester break to be able to cater to that need.
So is MIMA not being produced this year? So it doesn't affect us this year, right? So it's only next year onwards.
Processes that we need to create now for next year.
It depends. If we can, since if this is a approved idea, we can start working towards that. But I spoke to Manik, right, the editor, and he said that definitely semester 1 can't, but we can work for semester 2 already. Yeah. So this is his thoughts. And if the two of them, ISOs which is do the content and stuff like that, they need subcoms because right now there's 15 MUIS members, right? The fact that it's been constricted to 10 means that they will require more subcoms for next year because this is next year's plan, right? So they will definitely require more subcoms.
So this discussion, at least for Monga and Nima, will be taken offline and are all in it.
Yeah. This will be taken offline for with regards to that load.
Wait, so now MUIS doesn't have subcoms. Yes, MUIS have subcoms now?
15.
You do, right?
It's only for next year.
Okay, so you just have more subcoms next year. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
The whole noise is on with this. I'm gonna get it.
The only problem that we face now is that what are we going to brand it under? Are we going to change Monga?
We'll take the discussion offline.
Yeah, because
There's too many pictures.
I think it would be nice to have an international segment inside.
Yeah.
We should have a meeting, our editors and
Yeah. Offline. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Guys, if there's any other content you'd like to move on, Bianca, go for the. So what's it all okay? Okay. Manisha? Okay.
Motion 6 for MSC to accept the restructuring of MUIS division to as above from 2018 onwards. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Against?
1, 2, 3.
Abstain?
1. Is that max? 8. Is that max?
One's missing.
Sorry?
That's it.
Balance, yeah. Again. Oh, Juman. Wait, what's the 4? 12. So,
Should we read this?
no, it's just Juman code only. Just one code only.
Toilet.
Okay, then you want to move on to the next one first? Wait for Juman. Okay, anybody want to take a break? Okay, we'll take a break now. Yeah, go.
Wow, one break, one gang. Oh.
They say that cannot hear Ganesh.
Really? I can hear. I can hear.
Can I borrow your phone?
Tell me you can hear it.
Can I borrow your
Because I'm on.
Oh, you can hear from me.
I want to get you.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you guys for the toilet break.
Thank you guys.
Juman's vote was 4, so the motion is carried up. Continue.
Okay. Next. Okay. I'm talking about the eligibility to run for the annual elections. So to provide better representation and to avoid current MUSA members from rerunning while they are in office, I propose that office bearers are not eligible to stand while they are in office. The reasons are as follows: is because number one, we have a competitive advantage over other, for example, subcorps or students. Number two is we have been in here holding office for the year, so that provides or that doesn't give the students a new sort of change. Every time a new group comes, they provide new ideas, they brainstorm, they come up with new, better ways of doing things and sort of things like that. I understand that if current MUSA members were to run again, they have the advantage of experience, and that's undoubtedly an advantage to the entire team. But that advantage comes at a cost of other things. For example, that advantage allows us to not make perhaps mistakes, if we are not making any mistakes. But as a student's perspective, they will be able to sort of represent others. Is for them to have personal growth, because this university is both academic growth and both academic and personal and professional development for us to learn better. But that doesn't mean that MUSA members cannot rerun ever. It's just that they cannot rerun while they are in office, because that provides them too strong an advantage over the other candidates. The reason why it's being brought up here is because there are teams already forming for the elections, and a lot of these things are affecting the way the elections are to be done. That's why I'm talking about it in the 5th MSc so early, so that we don't give them, they need to be informed of how it's to be done. Right? Constitution, right? Clause 44, 1, subsection 1, subsection A states that students who are full-time staff of the MUSA are not able to stand for elections. This is already existing there. Okay? But you see, this is why our constitution is not perfect, because it's a carbon copy of the Australian constitution. And in the Australian constitution, MUSA, in terms of MSc members, are paid and considered staff. And therefore, if this is what it means in Australia, in the Malaysian context, it indirectly means that MUSA members are the staff in this case and are not eligible to run. If you can, Priyanka, open the constitution. So that's 44 subsection 1 subsection A. All students may stand in MUSA elections except for students who are full-time staff of the MUSA or the university. Okay, carbon copy copied from Australia. So yeah, if you look at 44 subsection 2, subclauses 1 and 2 do not prevent this constitution from limiting the eligibility to stand and vote in particular elections to a specific group. So it's how we define subsection 1 and A. 1 subsection A. Okay? So to provide the equal opportunity to everyone, to provide equal opportunity to everyone, I propose that while we are in office, we should not be allowed to stand in front of the elections. Let's say for this year, I'm in office, so I'm not allowed to run again. But next year, I no longer am in office, and I no longer have that competitive advantage. And therefore, I'm allowed to run again. It's just while we're in office.
That means that only engineering students can run twice. Because you do realize, unless you extend your degree, you'll only be here for 3 years. And even if you join in year 1, Sem 2, year 2, Sem 1, you give a 1 year gap, you cannot run again.
Yeah,
so only engineering students can run, only if you extend your degree.
Yeah.
And pharmacy, sorry, I thought you all go to Johor.
When we define full-time staff of MUSA, does that include subcommittee members?
Sorry?
Full-time staff of MUSA, does that include subcommittee members?
No, in that case, there are no subcommittee members in Australia. So because it's a carbon copy, I need to look at it from the perspective of a carbon copy as well. So if for them, full-time staff are MSc members, in this case would be MUSA members. You get?
Yeah.
You guys get what I mean? Okay. Is there any questions? No?
Can I add that sometimes committees can be comprised of last year's MUSA and this year's MUSA, like editors this year and pharmacy this year. And we seem to be working really well together, and Monga hopefully is a lot better than previous years. So sometimes experience may be good and change for the sake of change may not always be good. I would like to add that before you guys vote. So
yeah, I think that is true. Experience does have its advantages, but I think everyone is allowed to make the mistakes that they are entitled to make. Yes, it's not nobody wants to make mistakes, but if we make mistakes, we learn. It's development for ourselves and development for the student body. And every year, if we have more representation of the student community, it looks less and less of MUSA being different from student community, because every year it's a diverse group, it's a new group. Albeit there will be mistakes and change should not be made only for the sake of changing, but new ideas sometimes, I personally hope that the next president does better than me, whoever that may be. Yep.
As the route of rerunning for a different position here been explored?
No.
Because in the case of Andrew and Sam, they have done very well.
Yeah.
But they did not run for the same position.
Yeah.
So that's the possibility as well.
The thing is, with that case, it doesn't remove the fact that the advantage is there. That one exploits the advantage of rerunning, which is the experience, because the experience is able to be shared in somewhere else, but it does not remove the cost of the advantage we have. For example, not that I'm rerunning again, but let's say if I were to be, let's say let me give you an example. Let's say I were to run for treasurer next year, okay? And let's say I win, because I might have, I'm not saying that I will win, but I might have a chance of winning because I know people, and subcommittees and people. But of course, that doesn't mean a sure win lah. But if I win, right, the next president is probably going to get a lot of issues with me, because let's say right now I look through every green form, even to the slightest dollar. The next year's president is more lenient, okay, or maybe less or more strict. But my opinion would be, bro, I didn't do that last year. Just do it this way. I think it's fine. You've got other big things to do. See, it's not my right to. I can advise, but I can advise as the next president anyway. But it's his right to whether he wants to check the green form 3 times, or he doesn't want to check the green form green form to the finance form, by the way, or a budget proposal 3 times or 5 times. Just because I did it 1 time doesn't mean I did it right. But I can advise even if I was not a member of the council. So that advantage provides him. I think it's my responsibility to share my experience with him so he can take that experience and learn more. I feel that's every year. Yes, we are.
This one is just a message for me. This is not related to MUSA system. For me, MUSA has always stand for something that we all meant to. It's one thing for sure to improve students' well-being, welfare, and their experience in modern era. Second of all, MUSA stands for something that also one more thing that I like it the most. That's why I joined MUSA, was that it was to improve students on how they think and how they look towards things. If let's just say this motion doesn't go through, it's not up to you guys. This is just my opinion and suggestions. If you guys want to vote against this motion or abstain from it, you can. It's up to you guys. It's up to you. Okay, because the students elected you for this position for 2017. But if you guys reject this motion itself, I'll tell you the consequences. The consequences of it is that people who are power hungry, or if they just want to sit in the office all day long for the next 3 years or 2 years or 4 years, whatever it is, they can because of that. So guys, MUSA doesn't stand for like, oh, I just want to sit in the office, get a cert and everything. No, it's about providing students a platform and experience as something they can be forward to in their future towards their work, towards their whatever future they have. So that's for me. So it's up to you guys to decide. But for me, this motion itself, it's up to you guys. But yeah, okay.
So it's clear there are two sides to the coin. Okay,
Yeah.
not saying which side is the coin is right. As Andrew mentioned, that experience does help in certain ways, but like what Vayan mentioned also, there are detrimental factors as well.
Yes. It's to give students something, other students opportunity to do something they want to do, not just opting. Can you imagine Donald Trump running for 8 years?
Okay, yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, I would like to add that for I think the three of us who ran again, if we wanted to run again for a cert, it's basically pointless. The reason we ran, oh yeah, Sam.
Let me just tell you that the work that we're doing right now is not worth the time. It's not worth the cert that we're doing, but this is a personal thing that we want to give back. I don't think it's, if you want to say power hungry, first year I understand. Second year I don't think so.
Right. With Terry first. Okay, last two questions before we run the motion. Yes, Terry.
Let's say, what you say is
No, okay. The only thing is my example was just, let's just say, I'm not sitting above under my ex-MUSA content members, which is Sean or Andrew or Sandro. I never ever in there. They are doing a good job, and I mean that seriously. They are doing a way better job than anybody I can see before. They are performing as they are really showing they can do something out of their own job scope. So it's not that I'm saying I'm shooting them down or anything, but I'm just stating that is to ensure that the whole thing about why no current MUSA or the office bearers should run again is because they should allow other students the opportunity to run for this position and show the other students what they can do. That's all I'm just saying. That's my whole point of this whole thing. Yeah.
Wait. More first. Oh, sorry, Terry.
Isn't it, let's just say, like what you say about experience, let's just say this term the person did and he wanted to run again. Students will know that he's not eligible, not a fit candidate to run again, so they will not vote him anymore. But the students, from what he has done and what they have, how he has been in the department for the entire year, see him fitting to run again, students will vote for him. So at the end of the day, it's still in the power of the students.
Yeah, it's still
how
in
the
the
students have to see to tell him whether he did a good job or did a bad job. So what
Okay.
is that's the
Okay, but no doubt, although capabilities and experience are something that students look into, no doubt capabilities and experience is something that students look into, we cannot deny, I'm not going to deny the elephant in the room, that it is a popularity contest as well. Okay, we all know this. Okay, whether you want to admit it or not, it is. Okay, the most popular kid has a higher chance, not the show win, but the higher chance. What I'm saying is to eliminate the popular kid with regards to what we can do. I can't eliminate the popular kid out there because that is his or her right. What I'm saying is the competitive advantage that is very clear. That is what I'm saying. Because if I'm in my position, I tend to know slightly more people than possibly somebody who doesn't. We'll just take two more questions because this is taking too much of time. If you guys don't agree, it's fine. Okay? Yes, Sean?
Just something, because I think what Andrew said and what they say is true. The experience that we did last year, actually, like, we sort of know that what we, like, I'm running for the same product. We sort of know that what we are going to do and what we should do better. Like, I think for now, if you really want to know, we learn as going to know better, like, what we have really changed. But the fact is, my advice is to run for twice. Because like in MUSA, for each year MUSA, how it works is very different. Like for me, it's not that I don't know my dad it, but just that sometimes you say like, I thought that I should look like this, you need sometimes like that it. And it's like sometimes you will be like some of the complaints and some of the things. But the second thing is like, I kind of disagree with, I kind of partially agree with what they want to say, the power hunger, but sometimes you have to know that some people demand advice. It's because like they really think that some of the things it should really be changed, and if it's sort of like if you are in the middle of changing it, but someone like is going to answer, someone is going to take a position, but you don't know whether they can really change it or not. So it's like you try to convince something. But some of the thing is someone is really true and thinking like, oh, MUSA had this social butterfly engagement. So it's sort of like a both side.
It's a both side thing. It's a both side thing.
It's really like up to but my advice is to apply for price because I mean especially running for the same position price because like
yes.
Yeah. I think we should also see this as a litmus test for if you are passionate enough to want to give back to the students, you can and you should extend your semester. You should extend your year. Like for an art student, you only do 3 years, so you can only run once within the 3 years. If you care enough, you can extend that one extra year.
Or you can mentor the next guy.
Yeah, you can push like that one unit to the next year. You can push the other unit to the next year. That's if you care. So wouldn't you want people to care enough to sacrifice every year of their time to join in that sense?
You do have more questions. Yeah. Okay. Mark?
Just a thought that I would like to share before I go to for this. Yes, I agree with Leon's point, and I even agree with Andrew's point that they didn't run for the research and they are undeniably doing a good job. And as a council, we all also are proud of that. But that does not guarantee in the future people won't rerun for the purpose of actually helping out. They might just rerun because of the research. So just because right now the situation stands that people actually wanted to make change, you can't guarantee that down the line when you graduate from Monash, people will remain the same. So I would say that two sides to the coin, and you should think about both sides before moving for.
Let's just think about the future before we just think about what is the consequences might happen. Because I always think about worst case scenario.
I know this is a very tough decision. I know it's a very tough decision. But we were elected to make these tough decisions. Okay? Personally, I feel we should not. I have no voting right here in this case. Right? Vijay?
I think we have to look at this in a very different perspective. In terms of improvement in MUSA, if we get new people coming in every year without experience, then we are just starting MUSA with chances every year. It's like getting a chance this year's president might be better, so we might improve. Or this year's president might be worse, so it might be fine.
Yeah.
What if there are people that are experienced in MUSA who is able to lead the team to a better future? That's one of the points in terms of improvement, which I would not agree because of that. In terms of power hunger and everything, I think we kind of forget that MUSA is what the student chose. So if the student chose someone like that, I think it is their responsibility to say, that's democracy, to be honest. That's what US should actually know about the They chose the person. It's not our choice to say this person should not be up. But if the person already chose them, then that is their responsibility to bear what is going to happen. I think we don't have a stand in terms of saying we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. This is why there is a democracy. I think there's a reason. We are looking in terms of what we want MUSA to always be better. But the point where we always forget is we are going to be better because people chose. Yes, popularity comes into play. But then that is also what students wanted. But if students have enough awareness to say, oh, MUSA can do such things. If this happens, actually MUSA can reverse our life in university can reverse. Then the awareness has to be there that what we choose is not popularity. The focusing point for me is not changing this eligibility to run away, but rather to actually think about how students look at MUSA itself. Obama ran twice. US still performed well. So why can't a person actually ran twice in MUSA to actually improve? I think like Andrew Sean, they all did really a good job.
Yeah.
And I feel that the experience and knowledge they had before really bring forward. I think that's my viewpoint in terms of how we are looking at this.
Okay, Simon?
First of all, I'd just like to say there's a reason why Obama can run 3 times. Okay. While it is clear that he did a much better job than the current president, it is still something that he did not run for the 3rd time. And I think it's also fair to have this reason that some candidates not if they currently hold a position. For your app question, say a MUSA member or a LSA member has resigned.
Right.
Can this person run next year?
If the person is not an office bearer, he or she can run for the next year.
You need to say next. So if say this person resigns this year,
Yeah.
due to some personal reasons,
Yeah.
he or she is allowed to run next year.
Yeah. Because he is not an office bearer. And to add on, see, even no doubt that Obama may have been very good, but if complete democracy was there in the United States, he would have been allowed to run 5 times. As long as people chose him, it means that they wanted Obama. But even there, they have a restriction. But for the US presidency, it's the human being in that political arena is for decades. We're here for years. So if you make it into the same dimension from years to 12 months, you can justify that it's 1 year. Okay, last question, Alina, then we run the motion.
So
okay,
basically, okay, so it is possible for students like engineering and pharmacy to run twice, am I right? Especially if they start on the first year, second sem. So let's say if they run twice, first year, second sem, they will be in the council for 2 years until the end of their third year. Is it possible? I agree with Andrew, I agree with Leon. Is it possible for us to sort of come to a compromise where they can rerun again, but they can only rerun once? In other words, like they can only pick up the position like twice in a row. For example, after this term, Andrew cannot rerun anymore. Yeah. And like in a way, let's say if again taking into account what Terry said, if the students already know that, for example, Andrew is not eligible to rerun, they wouldn't vote. But at the same time, like you should also again what the editor said, like they are making improvements. You know, like sometimes people just want to like make improvements. They realize their mistakes in their current term and want to improve in the next term. So is it possible to let them rerun again, but for only 1 term? So basically, someone can only run for like 2 terms.
Right.
Yeah.
If I may add what Sean you, I think I understand what he said earlier, is that when, okay, perhaps you guys don't see the challenges with regards to running 2 times in a row. Okay, it's merely because Sean and I have had this discussion previously as well, is that every team is a new dynamic. Okay, perhaps 1 year the leadership of the team is in this way. Another year is a different way, because all of us are different people, right? But if we move from one, if we are carrying forward because we are molded to what has happened for 12 months. So when you put it into a new mold, we don't click. Okay? Sometimes we eventually click, sometimes we never click. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of departments, they don't see it, but I see it as a whole. I'm not saying I'm better, I'm able to see it from an advanced picture. I can foresee, and I've had a discussion with Sean Yu as well, with regards to how that is a possibility of it. I'm not saying it's happening, I'm just saying that there's a possibility like this. For example, let's say next year's team, half of it is from MUSA 2017. Okay? I question the flow is going to lead them away. Seriously. Like, because it'll be so different. It'll be so different to that guy's way of doing it or that girl's way of doing it. Now, I'm not saying that guy's way of doing it is wrong or right. But if it is wrong, he has the right to make the mistake. Or, like for me, I still get advice from President Shah and President Shihab. So if I were to talk about projecting my experience, I would be more than happy for Shihab, Shah and myself to tell the next president, now this is what we did. You can take it if you want. You don't want, it's fine. But this is what we have to advise you. Until today, if I have anything, I always ask Shihab and Shah. So with regards to that, if we're talking about experience, we can share experiences in so many other ways. I'm not saying that which way is better, but I'm saying that if we want to share experience and we're really passionate about for the MUSA's continued progress, we can always share our experience. Okay, I think this discussion has been very good and very long.
Can I just add one last point? I think power hunger is a very poor argument, because if you want to say power hunger, then might as well not let anyone run for MUSA, because that will also happen with new students. So I don't think that should be inside the argument.
Okay.
Let me say this. Guys, an example, it's just an example, it's not about, okay, maybe the sentence that I use is normally, it's not about power hunger, but for me, the whole main point, the main one highlighting our co-education like this is to basically giving students an opportunity to do something that gives them a chance to do something than just studying and everything. Maybe they don't have any club for society, but if they want to join a MUSA committee or want to give back to students, this is a platform where they can do it.
Okay, Becca.
It's not about power hunger, guys.
Okay, Becca, call the motion.
Motion 7 for MSC to accept that MUSA members are not eligible to stand for annual elections while holding office effective from the 2017 annual elections onwards. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9.
Against?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Motion is not carried.
Okay, next. Okay, MUSA annual elections. Having 3 major elections is confusing, and it has confused both the students, the staff, and ourselves, MUSA members. So, I've discussed with both CNS and MUIS. So CNS's elections are slightly different because only their committee, only club committees, only new club committees for that the next year get to vote for the incoming CNS committee, right? So with regards to that, it's very specific, it's very delayed because they have to wait for all the clubs to sort of come up with their new committees. So, but besides that, we've got MUIS on the other hand, and I've already discussed this with MUIS. So what I'm proposing is to merge the elections together. Now there's 2 reasons for this. Number 1, look at it from this point of view. A few years ago, there were almost 3 teams running for MUSA. Before that, when it was 2001, 6 teams was 2 teams running against each other. When it came to our team, it was half and half, which is sort of 1. 2 years in a row, MUIS complete walkover. Okay? So I'm not saying it's anything bad with us, but what I'm saying is we cannot keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So let's try something new. So what I'm saying is MUSA and MUIS committee, which is our division, run together as one flag. For example, let's say team A, 32 of us plus 10 of them. And the other team, now the advantages are this. Number 1, if the other team has 32 and not the 10 MUIS committee, by hook or by crook, you're going to force yourself to find the other 10 because you're going to lose the other side. And you're going to pick people who are able to work as well because you know that one side already has a very strong team rather than having none. So you have got competition. When there's competition, it's a selection, hopefully, as best as it can be, a best selection. Now, the other advantage is, looking at this, in Australia, let me tell you the history of why MUIS exists, or why MUSA is structured in such a way. MUSA is a carbon copy of MSc in Clayton. In MSc in Clayton, Monash, Australia is an Australian university on Australian soil. Okay? So an Australian student is a local student. Every other student is an international student, right? There are 30,000 students there. 10,000 are Australian, 20,000 are international. So that's why MUIS was formed. Now it's a carbon copy to MUSA, right? But look at it from MUSA's point of view. Monash University here is an Australian university on Malaysian soil with Malaysian students in it. Now whether this is are we actually really a local student in this university? Because we're in an Australian university. There is different. It's Australian university on Australian soil. Here's Australian university on Malaysian soil. It just so happens that we're Malaysian. Now, what I'm saying is, if last time, no matter how we preach, only subcoms or people who are very close to MUSA understand that MUSA international students can run, right? But to every other international student out there, MUIS is what they can run for and not for MUSA. They know that. Okay, wrong, but it's true. Now, what will happen if we merge this together is that if a friend of the MUIS committee that's running comes and says, I would like to run for elections, last time, if your team is full, I either not run or I run for the opposing team against my group of people. Now, in this case, this MUIS committee that's running can say, you know what, you don't have to run for MUIS, you can run for School of Business representative, you can run for president, you can run for GenSec. Now, what is going to happen is there is a possibility of an equal representation of international students in this international university across the board and just not in MUIS alone. Okay? So all this has to be done is to configure the system. So when I put my student ID in, I'm a male, School of Business, local student. Therefore, I cannot vote for the MUIS committee, I cannot vote for women's officers, I can only vote for School of Business. Right? So we just have to put that one more criteria which it already has because they have set it up for the MUIS elections. Okay? Anybody has any questions?
I think it's more fun.
Okay, if anybody has no questions, yep.
What happens to CNS?
Okay, so CNS, because of their, like I said, their elections are apart, as in because they have to wait for the new committee to come in for the club, let's say for MBC, for the club 2018's committee to come in, then only they can vote for the CNS. From my understanding with CNS, MUSA is voted by students and CNS is voted by clubs. So that's my understanding now. I'm still, as we continue to discuss on that, but for now, MUIS is on board. Yes?
So that means when you run for election, it's all these departments, CNS 2, MUIS 10.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions?
So that means one under MUSA itself.
One umbrella, yes.
I'm just asking,
Okay.
no, I'm looking at you.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Running for MUSA and running for a CNS committee is, in the student's point of view, is two different things. Running for MUSA is you're expecting a lot of work, you're expecting time to be taken away from you, you're expecting to serve more. When you run as a CNS committee, you still do the work, but you don't do as much as a MUSA level committee member. So that encourages more people to run again. As you remember, our election, most of us won by opposite because nobody else wanted to run. You get it? So this is my point of view. If you bring up the CNS committee to a MUSA level, you barely have enough people to run for MUSA itself now. Now we have another level up and they're going to be intimidated to run for that.
I disagree with Sean with regards to that. It's because the reason why CNS is not included in this is because of the way that it's voted. I don't think it's because of the different tiers. I don't know, but I don't think it's because of different tiers. I think it's because of how they are voted in. Because they only voted by club committee members, not club members, not people who are not in clubs. Only club committees. So because of that, until I continue to discuss CNS on that, that stands. But in our case, it's students. Just that MUIS one is international, right? Just put another criteria, just like women's only female students can vote. It's just a simple tick in forms. Okay, anybody question? I'm sure you have a question, right?
So in the future MSCs, will all the MUIS members be allowed to be not allowed because they're allowed now, but will they be asked to
No, for the heads, yes, but for the rest, just like right now, they can come and if they want to present, yeah, they can. Okay? Anybody got a question? No? Okay, back up.
Motion 8 for MSC to accept the consolidation of the annual elections to one electoral process from 2017 onwards. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 22.
Against?
0.
Abstained?
2.
Motion is carried.
Next, MUSA Constitution. So right now there are 3 different constitutions: Constitution A, Constitution B, Constitution C, which is A, B, and C. MUSA, CNS, MUIS. An organization can only have one constitution but different set of procedures. So I have taken the 3 constitutions and given it to 3 different lawyers without saying anything. This is not, I am not a lawyer here. I don't know. I just asked their opinion. I told them, tell me what you think. I've never seen a country's constitution, CNS. They responded me with one thing. I've never seen a country's constitution that has been crafted in such a way that provides exclusion clauses to certain groups of people, and it is something, the reason why it cannot be legal or even endorsed by this university is because it's construed in such a way that it is not what a legal proceeding would be. Now, I'm not saying this is my opinion, I don't know anything. All I'm saying is this is the opinion that I get from experts. Now, what I'm saying is this. Let's take Constitution A, B, and C, put that aside. Let's start with Constitution Z, which has Part A, Part B, and Part C, election regulation, and standard of procedures of all our portfolios. I'll get registrar to look through it, vet through it, and I'll get the university to endorse that this is an official document of the MUSA, and we recognize MUSA as a body within the university. Right now, MUSA is not even a body recognized in the University Council. The University Council is like, there are like 50, there's like 7 or 8 councils of each campus, and all of them sit in the Student President's Forum. But we are not even recognized because of many factors. This is one of it, because the university does not recognize our official document. Every other one is, of course, every other student council is a registered association. We can't do that because of our Malaysian circumstances. But the best we can do is get the university to at least endorse that we are an organization within the university. Okay? What I'm saying is, I'm not talking about any amendments, I'm talking about getting all the documents on one table, compiling it. If there are any changes, make the changes, propose it to the MSc, let the MSc vote for the changes if need be, because there will be overlaps. Any questions? No? Okay, back up.
Motion 9 for MSc to accept the consolidation of the 3 constitutions into one master constitution, which will have respective parts which will be represented by the existing constitutions. 4. Against?
1.
Abstain? 1. Motion is carried.
Okay, next. Okay, and each MUSA member is elected by the students. I propose that each of us should have an equal voice in all our discussions. So, with regards to that, everybody is to get 2 voting rights, except the heads of the 2 divisions, because they represent the interests of those divisions as a whole. So, in regards to that, heads of CNS 2, MOES 2. Okay, in the MSc. But internally, that's a different story. Okay, in circumstances where officers are not able to come, this is what Gerald reported up the other day, where if the office bearers are not able to come, who gets to vote? They will have to appoint a proxy. In this case, like for example, Akansha is obviously not here and Franklin is not here, so Simone is voting, Franklin's voting right. You should take somebody who's a proxy from your portfolio because they understand your portfolio. Okay? If it's a closed door meeting, there will be no motions passed. There will be a discussion, and just like that, or the closed door meeting with discussion, and I'm proposing everything as an MSc. Okay, consensus?
Is there a separate motion for editors?
Yeah.
Okay. So this doesn't affect editors at all?
No.
Okay.
This is the existing ones who have 1 voting right. Consensus? Yeah.
So it means that every department can be voting right?
Yeah.
Because I personally think that if you are the sharing position, it would be fair enough that you have only 1 voting right. Since I understand that school have 2 voting rights because they are male and female, so it's reasonable that you guys have 2 voting rights. But for sharing position, wouldn't you guys be agreeable what you guys do and why is the same opinion when you guys getting the sharing position at the same time? Because it's a bit contradictory, like saying that today me and Kevin we are sharing position, but we have two wives. So it is indirectly saying that what is the sharing position for? Right? There's no meaning for the sharing position.
Yeah.
Like what I told you before.
Yeah. Sorry. First, yes, Mark.
I agree with what you say, but when motions are being carried out, right,
even though the head of the particular division there are two people, it's not necessary for both of you to run the same stance or something. I mean, you could have a personal opinion in one way, and your partner could have a personal opinion in another way. In that way, both of you are voting right, both of you basically voice out your thoughts and opinions after that voting right. That's what I feel.
But couldn't
Wait, Sean first.
I'm just asking a question. Inside the constitution, does it say that, let's say the person must be 2 person in office? That's
Up to last year, no.
So that means that for the chair position, there will be more than 10 people also in one position.
Up to last year, no.
Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah. As of now, yes.
I mean, about that, so we can say yes. But the thing is,
What will be
No, sorry. Because last year, remember Shah approved a motion that a shared position is 2 people, right? So right now, it's 2.
so can it be more than the 2?
For shared positions, no.
I mean, let's say it's like fixed already, but shared position 2, but it can be also less than 2.
From last year's motion, no. From last year's
like
motion,
must be
no. Yes. I'm talking up to date, right? Shared position is 2. Minimum and maximum 2.
So if one person resigns, the other person has to resign.
Okay. The constitution does not say that. It doesn't say that if one person resigns, the other person has to resign. But it is by practice. It has been practiced before, but it does not say in the constitution that if one person resigns, the other person has to resign. But yeah, Sean, yes.
Okay, one thing. About the shared position, right? I mean, what's the difference between us and school reps? Because it's still 2 people running for the same position, and we are still also, I mean, we still share the same workload anyway. So it's like, did I say something wrong? Who are you? Yeah. I mean, isn't it the same thing? It's just the title, shared position. But rightfully, we're still 2 people running. Yeah. That's why we should be.
But you have to understand that the reason why we as reps have two voting rights is because we are the closest link to the students. We all are part of the and the closest link to the students, which means we know exactly what students want, students need. So, for example, if we know that for a fact something that is going to be run, a motion that is going to be run will not benefit the students in any way possible, and because we know our students, right? Because we are like your parents, right? Okay, so if we know that it's not going to be beneficial for them, then shouldn't we have the most say to whether or not something is to be run, because it affects our students, right?
Okay. Sean, then Rebecca, then Sean.
Coming.
Something I just you said the constitution for the shared position of 2 people running.
Yes.
Starting from the next team that running or starting from
Because it was approved as the 10th MNC last year. So that means it has to affect this coming year.
which is the
This coming election. Yes. This coming election.
because at first I thought that so that giving one opportunity voting rights. And yeah, I agree with what Sam said.
But mine is related to Sean so can I
Okay.
let's say if you say it's compulsory to have shared position, like okay, let's say shared is understood as 2 or more people.
Yeah.
So how can a single person run for a shared position in election? How is that possible?
No, because as of last year, it wasn't defined what a shared position is.
Yeah, but after the 10 motion was carried, then like
After that motion, the next election is now.
oh, you was doing the 10 motion.
Yeah. So the next election is now.
10th MSc, not 10th.
Yeah, sorry, 10th MSC. Becca, then after that.
Going back to what Sam said, I think there is the reason why you feel that the school reps are more closer to the students is not to blame anyone or anything, but I feel that it's technically our fault because we run for MUSA, we run for the students, we take care of the welfare of the students. So just because you're running for, say, General Secretary, that doesn't mean I cannot be on the ground to be as close to the students as well. So that's partially our mistakes. That is why the students, you feel that the students can come to you. Because I feel that the students can come to me as well. Should a student be upset about, say, the food prices in the cafeteria,
if they don't approach welfare, they can approach me as well, because if I was more on the ground, they could come and tell me as well. So maybe that is why you feel that the students are closer to you, because you deal with them on a first-hand basis. Then I feel that is our mistake, because we're not on the ground.
Andrew?
Also what Sam said, yeah, it's true that students, as being a rep like last year, students are closer to you when you're a rep. Serious, you have all these events which you're forced to go because you're a rep. So students are closer to you when you're a rep, and you understand what students want more. Like, I'm so out of touch with being editor. Even when I go for events, I still feel like I don't engage with as many people as back when I was rep. And back when I was rep, I felt like I understood what my friends want, and they come to me, oh, I want this, I want that, this is shit, that is shit, and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with Sam, whatever Sam said.
To add on to Sam's and Priyanka's point is, the reason why school reps still feel this way so strongly is because, as a whole, MUSA is flawed. It's something flawed in MUSA because when students elect you to run as a position, you should be the voice of all students. Basically, all of us should be as grounded, as approachable to every student. Right. But the fact now, the reason why I say MUSA is flawed, it makes students feel that reps are the linking bridge to all the other MUSA members and the students. So that's why school reps are so strongly against this, because we still feel that we are the most grounded people as of now. Until MUSA can rectify this flaw, school reps will never give away this, I didn't say power, but power to a stronger influence in the decision making for the students.
Okay, arguing about it.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay. If I may add, I've had this discussion with Terry as well. Now, it's like, for example, it's the chicken and the egg story. Okay? It's either right now, students don't feel as connected with other MUSA members as they are with school reps. Agreed. I understand that. I feel I made a mistake as well. I admit it. Okay? That means I have to get on the ground more, because my vote is for all. Okay? Just like every one of us, we are all elected by all. Right? That means your vote is for everyone. Now, the fact that, to be honest, I'll be completely honest, in the beginning of the semester, I wasn't sitting in my office. I was sitting in the library. I'll do MUSA work from the library, until that became an issue. Okay? Then I had to go back to the office, because that's where it didn't solve that. Then it became an issue. I'm too far away from the students, because we are all locked up. When I ran for MUSA last year, I told everyone this same sentence. We only see MUSA members during the time when they are trying to get you to vote for them. I remember this very clearly, and I said that the minute they win, you either see them at events or at the office, which is exactly what has happened to me. I have become what I have said, right? That means I have made a mistake. Now what I'm saying is, by giving each member a voting right, you are giving them the responsibility to go on the ground and hear the student voices. I'm not saying it diminishes the school reps' ability to make collective decisions. Number one is, as a president, I'm supposed to think about everyone, right? As schools, you have to think for your school. But that doesn't mean that's everyone. Collectively, it's everyone. That means everyone has to collude at all points of time. 14 out of 24 is the majority every single time. That means then what's the point of all the rest having votes at all? Because if all the schools, 7 schools add up, it's 7,000 students. And if all of you all feel that that is a better choice of voting right to understand, because that's understanding better the students, the rest of the committee should not have a voting like that. But then, we're still elected, we're supposed to make decisions for the students. What I'm saying is, give everyone a voting right, and it gives us the responsibility to get on the ground. Now it's either, like what Terry said, it's either MUSA members get on the ground first, and then earn the voting right, or you give them the voting right, and make them understand that they owe a duty to the students, rightfully so. And therefore, we should go to the ground. Either the chicken comes first or the egg comes first. Yeah.
Yeah, just one question, sir. You say that last time you were in London, but then after that you say you go to the office. Can I know that why you moved into the office instead of?
Oh, because it became an issue that why I'm always walking around campus and I'm not doing my job. Oh, yeah.
Can you just say confession, please?
Yeah,
So that means that this is what you, because you as a president, you will need to do your job like in office, like in office and everything. But are you saying, are you trying to say that if you have more time to like do everything, you actually know more? I mean, from other culture, like you know more about students compared to the students itself. You have already on ground with the students, and the students actually come to school. It's not actually about just about for fun or activities, but they come to us because we are part of SSLC that we need to bring up the issues to the CMO, or even if CMO cannot settle, you bring up to the campus level, everything.
Right.
That's the reason why we school level, and that's the reason why students can trust school reps. Not that trust school reps more than others level, but they came to us more than the others. So it's like, the thing is like, if they go to you because like something else, but if they come to us, it's like not only cover up the event or welfare part, it's like, but more to like, even academic, we also will. It's also like we are involved in it, like after to discuss it, and we know our school situation better than other council. It's like you can guarantee that as a president, you know pharmacy things, you know art things, you know any things. Yeah, that's the example. Like, yeah. That's the reason why school reps for each school they got two works, but and we collectively for neighborhoods, we can actually like make a big impact in the council itself, because like if we think of the scientific, okay, pharmacy, we think that it's like this, so it end up together that we are really like we are really thinking of students, what students they really want, and we are more understanding about it, so we put on it. It's not that activities or publicity they don't know about students, but compared to school rights, you must admit that there's still a gap between it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's the reason why school rights has a bigger power. And what Teresa actually agreed with, since last year I already told them is that if you think it's like it's not that not agreeing to doing or anything, but if you guys are not doing it and you guys are saying that, oh, why not just give you guys the voting right first and see what will change? But might as well you guys can do it first. If the students like let's also think that really it's time to change it. That's the thing. That's what my opinion is.
And there's another thing that I feel why school reps have a little more realistic, because we see for all the academics meetings, all the safety meetings, and all the progress meetings in our faculty itself. So as a whole, we have a clearer picture of where our faculty is going and how our faculty is actually helping the students and all the internal matters that occur within, let's just say, School of Engineering. That's why we are very familiar with how where is our faculty is going, current progress. That's why it's in a way easier for us to even explain to the student about everything that will be happening in School of Engineering, because only the reps will be sitting in for those meetings.
Right.
That's just one extra point. Although I truly believe that all MUSA members should be as grounded as the reps, but I think no matter what stage where all of us are as grounded as people, the only thing that reps will have extra point is because sitting on all the academic progress, all the safety, all the where the schools are going as a whole. That's the extra point that you will do.
If it is school specific, you are the best point of contact. If it's not school specific, like Priyanka explained, like lack of food, they can approach anyone. They should approach everyone. We should be approachable to that concern, which is not school specific. Okay? Which I agree. School specific, there's no way I'll understand. But I should understand everything else. Okay? Riam and Sam after that. Yeah, Riam.
I agree with you, but from my perspective, I think the picture is if we vote, we are voting as a CMS vote, yes. Department vote, yes. Male representative of School of Science vote, yes. Female representative of School of Science vote, yes. If you're making everyone like 2 or 20 minutes or today, Chong Wei Yang vote, yes. Lai Tai Ping vote, yes. Brenton vote, yes. So it's indirectly give up the meaning of having a steering commission. I know you say that you want to have like everyone is a voice, then then we just abandon the sharing position. We don't want sharing position. Then what is the sharing position for? I know that you say that, okay, you guys, at the end of the day, they still have to work together. Then that's another different story. What I want to say is, what is the main point of having sharing position is just only have one thing, right? This is the main idea. The work together and all that is another story already. You don't need to care about that. But in case, it's not.
So just to what I would say, I give you an example of, let's say the students, for example, what you said, learn a food, who would they first approach? Would they approach the president or would they approach their school rep? Let's say, you know what I mean?
They should approach either one.
No, the thing is because it's like, for example, I'll give you an example. If let's say I go to a company and I want to ask the company something, and doesn't the person, the CEO of the company, isn't that, do you want to go directly to the CEO, or do you want to say something to someone who you can relate to, for that person to bring up the question or bring up the idea to the CEO? You know, for example.
Yeah, I know. I get what you mean. What I thought what we're talking about is we all work as one. We are not very far away from each other. We're all working together.
Yes, we're all working together, but the thing is, how do I put it?
Because in this case, you're putting into context of hierarchy. In this case, you're putting into context of hierarchy. But in operations, hierarchy is not a question because everyone says that everyone's equal. So it's like sort of contradicting what has been mentioned in previous MSCs where we are all to work together. Because in this case, you're putting the CEO on the top and like the general manager somewhere here, which is more relatable to an employee. The employee doesn't go to the CEO straight away. Wait, give me one moment. Doesn't go to the CEO right away. I agree. But in this case, are we not trying to become as level and grounded as students as possible? Yes, we are.
I'll tell you this thing. My opinion would be, I agree with what all the students have mentioned. One thing for sure, because you know why? One thing I have seen after 1 year of my experience with the activities, every time the first contact in MS for a new student, when they start into connect, the first person or the first two person they talk to is basically the school reps. And I'll tell you this why. Because at 1 week itself, they have to see their faces every day. All no offense, you guys have been here and that's okay. But the only thing is that why school reps should maintain their voting rights is because they are the first line of contact with students. If let's just at any time if got any problem they face, right, if they want to talk to the president or anything, the first person they will ask is not you, but the first person they will ask is either the school reps itself, how do you contact the person itself. Unless the student is very smart, if they go to some office and find your card, then yes. But some students they tend to be shy. The first person they will look for is the school reps. Second, sharing position. Janice, I want to ask you this question. Don't you think that the current MUSA or the old MUSA, why they didn't make it like have you ever thought that why did the ex-MUSA didn't change the sharing position thingy?
With regards to what? How many people run with it?
No, the sharing position thingy. Like you want to make it as sharing position as 2 votes itself instead of 1 vote, right? Have you ever thought of why does all the old MUSA, like MUSA 2010 or anybody has ever think about like removing the share position and everything? The only thing why the purpose of having the share position, right, is one thing. If let's take for example, okay, my partner is bad. But for example, if let's just say we take Mohawk and
Sean.
For this, why they have the sharing position, let's just say Mohawk has point A and Sean has point B. The only thing why the sharing position was voted as one is because both of them discuss and come to a common stand and vote for either one of them. That's the whole purpose of the whole sharing position. If you're going to put it as 1 and 1, then if let's just say he voted yes and he voted against, then what's the point of the whole sharing position?
Right. I think that is department based. To say that department.
Yeah, basically you want to start a civil war between the departments.
No. It's not that. It's because if you were to look at it from that point of view, I understand your point of view. But if that's the case, then this is business as an example. Then the male business rep and the female business rep are technically representing the School of Business. Should the School of Business not have one vote? Yes, President.
No, I mean, correct. I mean, if by that logic, then every school rep should only have one vote because they're working for the same goal. If you're talking about working for the same goal, then every department should only have one voting right. But but from what I can see, every school rep has two voting rights because they hold the majority of the power within voting power within MUC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why that's why they want to keep it so much, and also because first contact is.
Because you see, right, a lot of the concerns are coming from the school reps which are opposing this, which are having the most voting rights. What about the departments who are not having that?
Yes, but I think you understand why I'm going to ask you the same question. Why the next MUSA has ever one election to remove the 14 votes?
I'm so sorry, Rion, but look at it from this point of view. Why has the 10 years of MUSA never questioned why the constitution is constructed like that?
Okay.
I mean, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
That means history, for somebody to question history is very difficult. It needs to be somebody like me who's just so out of my mind and just damn weird to question something like this. I'm not saying that it's wrong to question or not wrong to question, but what I'm asking is, unless we can justify from past documents, which I've read everything, and from actual experience that look, this is the case because of this, there is no way to prove that this was this. In the sharing position thing, it's a lot of because of how much one is a lot of workload for one person. If you're talking like what Nana said, if you're talking about civil war, then the School of Business should have civil war also.
Yeah.
Because one person would say something, because one person would say something and one person would say something else. But if you're talking about a collective voice of a department, that does not see. I'll use let's say Brendan and Michelle as an example. See, Brendan and Michelle don't have to vote as the treasurers. They're voting as elected members by the students. He might feel that what a student needs is something else. She might feel what a student needs is something else. But that doesn't mean that the treasurers don't agree as treasurers. They disagree as council members to represent the students. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I'm putting off.
Yeah. Okay, you guys remember a few weeks ago, actually in the last MSC, we ran a motion and majority abstained, right? I'm pretty sure you all know which motion I'm referring to. Yeah, okay. So, I'm not supposed to know this, but I do know lah. But there have been instances where because certain departments only have one voting right, okay, say one partner is actually for it, the other partner is against it, because they cannot come to a mutual ground, they choose to abstain. If in instances where everyone decides to abstain, then are we actually going to do anything or not? If everyone just chooses to abstain.
Yeah.
I would say sorry. Then from my point of view, I personally think that this is your department problem. You shouldn't put because of this, then you have to voting right. This is your problem. You have to settle the problem, right? You have your argument with father, then you settle with him or her first.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you cannot reach the agreement then.
Yeah.
But what is the sharing position for? Yeah, I know that you said that they all work together, shouldn't have one thing, right? But in the first place, that they are come from male representative and female representative. If today, if male head of SNS and female head of SNS, then I agree to voting, right? But we are sharing position. If today is that's very representative of school, just then one voting, right?
I think civil war will start regardless of who's voting right or what. Let's just notice short and move on. Fighting like every day.
Okay, Naha.
Sorry.
This kind of okay, go back one. To continue on Priyanka's point when she said but wouldn't let us just for the controversial religion. One say yes, one say no. It's in a way indicate a state as well. In a way.
Yeah.
You put it
Cancel out each other.
Yeah. Exactly. Then another thing is when we are talking about the departmental voting thing where we should agree on one thing and then we vote. So now when we vote, do you look into the best interest of the student or best interest of the department for the student?
Whether you have one vote or two votes, you only vote for the best interest of the student. The department didn't vote for us, students voted for us.
So basically, what I'm trying to, the question I'm trying to raise is, every time when you vote, are you supposed to vote in the best interest of the students or in the best interest of the department first, which is how your department's goal aligned in the best interest of the students, which is supposed to be the first part, which is every time when you vote, best interest of the students and never should consider on the department.
Yeah.
Because when the student vote for you, the student vote for you to have a voice on the student's benefit and not on your department.
Yeah. So that kind of cancel out the department needing to agree. Yeah.
This has nothing to do with this motion, but from what Priyanka has said, some students have actually commented on it, and I feel like we as council should actually ponder on it. It's not a big deal, but the fact that a lot of our motions, a lot of votes are being abstained, and I feel like before we abstain our votes, let's think again, why are we abstaining? We are supposed to voice out for students. By abstaining, you're not helping to voice out. If you really feel it's for, go for. If you feel like it's not of the best interest of students, go against. By abstaining, you're not really helping. This is nothing to do with the motion, but it's not like I need to put it out there after Priyanka has mentioned.
One final comment about the abstaining part. I think most of MUSA members have rectified that situation. That's why, as you can see from today's motion pass, most of us are going against for because I think from the last experience of the fourth MSc, all the MUSA members have realized that by abstaining, we are not doing our job as the voice of the student. So I guess that point no longer
it's working. It's working on it. Yeah.
Bring up because everyone has a
Okay, last two from Jasmine and
if you want to give each person a time,
sorry?
you move the fact that you can
No, see, abstain. Okay, let me tell you what abstain should be. No, in actual fact,
Guys.
all of us should either be for or abstain or whatever proportion of that. No, sorry, for or against. The only part that we should abstain is the person who is going to get a benefit or be affected by the vote. For example, I really respect Mohsin for this. When we voted for his department, I raised my hand for abstain, he raised his hand for abstain because he knows it affects his department directly. That is the only reason we should abstain. The rest, it's either you are you're either against or for. That should be the right way. Unless I'm getting some 10,000 budget from, let's say, VPs, unless I'm getting that, I should not abstain. You get what I mean? Okay? Yeah, sorry, begin first.
I think the concern about the student reps having more I've discussed it with Ganesh regarding that student reps should have more focus than deciding to themselves. But dividing with his points, which he says, aren't the people other than student reps also trying to do the best for the students? So what gives school reps something so different that we can have more voting rights than the other ones? Like welfare, what they do actually affects our students too. But why do we have a lot more power compared to them? Talking about being closer and everything, I think everything we are voting now, especially I think I really agree on what Terry said is for every student. And if it's particularly for a specific student that doesn't have to abstain, I think that makes sense now. So it brings us to a point where what our voting rights really represents that matters whether we should agree or disagree on this part. That's my point of view.
Okay, last point and after we move on.
This is a question I have about the
Yeah.
So say somebody feels very strongly about this Jasmine and I as an example. Say I feel very strongly about a motion.
Right.
Okay, so I want to vote for. Okay. Jasmine wants to vote against.
Yeah.
Obviously, because but see we cannot reach a decision, okay? And we're representative when we're voting, I feel like we're representative of the department, right? We're not representative as Hannah and Jasmine.
You're representative of the students.
But we're voting. We're not voting as Hannah and Jasmine. We're not voting as the students.
No, you elected.
No, we're voting with the students' best interest.
Yeah.
Or we're voting as women's officers from the women's officer department.
Which can have different opinions.
Okay, so let's continue on that. So I feel very strongly about it. I vote for, she votes against. But because I want the motion to get passed, wouldn't that cause more internal fractions within our department alone?
But right now, if you are strongly for and she's strongly against, you will vote abstain, you will go back to the room and fight.
But that's not, we have disagreed on motion before, and that's not what's happened.
It's
because we agree, if neither of us can have our way, then neither of us will have our way. But to know that something that your partner has completely sees opposite as on you on this can cause problems. That's my only consideration.
Really, this just happened here. So Florence isn't here, so voting right, who has a voting right? Got it. So Florence texted me and asked me what that vote for everyone motion. I said for, Florence voted against. We had a discussion and we handled it perfectly. So I don't see that as a problem. That if one partner votes for, one partner votes against, it will come. Because we came to a conclusive decision as to why I voted for, why you voted against. That's it. There's no need to extend it beyond that. Even if you feel really strongly for it, because I felt really strongly about rewriting it. I don't think that we should rewrite. Florence felt that it should be fair that they should be allowed to rewrite.
If you're talking about riffs, this has been my project for the past 5 months. To those of you who put against, don't you think I have, if that comes to play, don't you think I have now somewhat of issue with you now that I put in 5 months of my work into this, and now you've expressed a concern that's a no. No. You voted yes, like I said at the beginning. It's either you put yes or no, it's fine. But this is my proposal to you. Now, that is your decision for this proposal. That's your decision for this proposal. But going back after this, the minute MSc is over, I'm still going to go tomorrow, let's go for roti naan. Finish. Whether you put it yes or no. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
I think I understand Hannah's point is that it will develop an underlying problem within that department. Like, let's look at it as somewhat like bragging rights, right? Let's say the motion that Hannah voted for and Jasmine voted against. If 4 wins, then they can hold it against them. It becomes an underlying problem instead of an actual big problem. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I understand. Yeah. But we are office bearers before being individuals. I know that's hard to believe, but like I said, 5 months of work, I know who voted yes and who voted no, right? But that doesn't affect me in any way. Terry?
That's why I always say, even every time I vote for something or discuss on any matter, it's specifically on the method and nothing personal. So that's why grief should not occur if you are mature enough to understand the situation. That's all.
And last one, then we call for the vote.
So, but yeah, basically what I can see is like this was not everyone is going to be able to handle that maturely enough. There are going to be people who are going to hold resentment and tension against each other. Not everyone can sort it out lah. Jasmine and I probably can, but like other people probably can't. And we're not deciding for this movie, we're also deciding for future movies as well. It's definitely something to consider. And
I think
the department cannot, if it comes to a head, then if your personal relationship is broken based on this, and it is sometimes very difficult to separate professional and personal, especially with your close friends. And when that breaks, there's a lot at stake. Your department is at stake, your personal life is also at stake.
I'll just end it.
I don't see this much.
I'll just end it. Yes, I don't see the difference between department and school rep. I'll just end it by saying, if we feel that there's no way there'll be one day where people will be so immature in our council that if you go against me, let's say, Jasmine, I put something so much effort and you're against my idea, that I'm going to take it outside to wherever. If that's going to be an issue 5 years down the line, then we might as well put a motion out there that whatever motion is ever to be done, it has to be 100% consensus, because that's the only way that we will say that, okay, all of us agree or all of us disagree. Because if we are not allowed to disagree, and we're not mature enough to disagree and move on, and if there's a risk that our friendship and whatnot will be affected, I feel that every decision should be 23 or 23 then. That's the only way. If that's really a concern, I understand. That's either, then we should run another motion that says that all motions either 23 or 23 or not at all. Yeah. Okay? Call for the motion, please. Oh, okay.
Hey, how many more?
14 out of 43.
Can we start then Celine come again? Okay.
Next is the spillover of this.
We run this for someone.
Then Celine can come and tell her what. Like,
Oh, okay. Serene will come and just notify her.
Okay.
Like Julman will say that. Yeah. Okay? Alright. Oh, sorry. 201. Okay. Alright. Go.
Motion 10 for MSC to grant all MUSA members a voting right to a maximum of 2 per division to allow equitable representation effective 2018. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Against.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Abstain.
1, 2.
Sorry.
Let's go to the other one.
Against. Motion is not carried.
Okay. Next. So see, we can disagree, but that's fine. Oh, sorry? Yeah. No, but it didn't get carried. So it doesn't. No, it didn't get carried. Okay? Right now, as you guys know, each position in MUSA is both win or both lose. Except the screw rep, which is one win from one side, one win from the other side. That's because of how it's structured. We have male engineering rep, female engineering rep, because they are separated by the name itself. Okay? So what I'm saying is to propose that there's a thing called engineering rep, which consists of 2 people, one being male, one being female. For example, like women's officers, it's 2, and it has to be female, right? MUIS committee has to be international. In that case, for let's say Alice Engineering is an example, it's engineering representative. It has to be 2 from that school, 1 male, 1 female. So they both win or they both lose. That's what I'm proposing. You guys get what I mean? Is there any questions? Starting from this election onwards. This is because if let's say, okay, Sean and Serene, you guys won from both separate sides, right? And it's amazing how you guys gel so perfectly. But that is based on like personalities, merging, a bit of luck, and all of that. But almost everyone else is like they won by a pack. So because of that, it's like Adina chose Pang, and Pang chose Adina. So the fact that okay, Adina chose Pang and Pang chose Adina. With the vote, when they ran, they knew that one could win, one could lose. They knew that. But did they ever hope that I'll be the only one winning? No, they will hope that I'll work with Adina when I win. Right? So in the mindset, they are running voluntarily with this person, hoping to win and work together voluntarily. But in, let's say, Sean and Serene is not an example because they're doing fantastic. But let's say one person comes from one party and another one comes from another party. There is the possibility of not working well because it is involuntarily forced upon me to work together. I'm not saying if they join together, they're going to be married for life. But what I'm saying is, there's a higher chance of gelling because you voluntarily chose the person. You guys get what I mean? So what I'm saying is, we have engineering representative. Both must be from the school of engineering. Both must be either one male and one female. And there must be 2. Okay. If everyone said yeah.
It's like now for the male and female, they get to run together. So basically, they're considered as a shared position, right?
Yeah.
So for school reps, for the case of school reps, we run as a shared position up against 2 votes, right?
Yeah.
Just because the motion, the previous motion.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that one wasn't passed. unless the decision changes, which I highly doubt, then yeah.
Seems like, for example, like in the new constitution,
yeah,
because the share position, like even as students is under share, the name of share position, right?
Yeah.
So that means that there's an exception for the voting right.
Yeah. Because your reasoning just now for going against the vote was not because it was a shared position or not. Yeah, CNSS one was, yeah. But everyone else was not because I ran separately, therefore I get voting rights. I didn't, none of y'all said that. Y'all said both of y'all have 2 votes because y'all understand the students better. Y'all nothing because y'all ran separately. If your concern was y'all ran separately, now that I'm putting y'all together, your decision might have changed. But now, since we've moved them, now even if I merge y'all together, it does not eliminate the reason why you didn't agree earlier, which is y'all understand students better. Correct? So that's why it doesn't change. And that's why the first one was before this one. Okay? Make sense? Okay, no other questions, I think. Priyanka?
Option 11 for MSc to accept the restructure of sharing position system for the electoral process commencing semester 2017. For
Oh, Jasmine said 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Motion is carried.
Okay.
Wait. Right.
Okay, next one. Then the last, final one. Okay. It has come to my attention that there seems to be a bit of a confusion between neutrality and transparency. Okay? Which is what I gathered from the last discussion we had. Now, I've done a bit of research and I've consulted a lot of people, and this is what neutrality and transparency and how they're different. Okay? Neutrality is this. There's left and right. I'm in the center. That's neutrality. Transparency is this. There's left and there's right. I remove the curtain. Hey guys, there's left and right. You get what I mean? Neutrality, transparency. Now the question is, do you need to be neutral to remove the curtain? If you are saying left, can you not remove the curtain? Okay? So what I'm saying is, being located in the MUSA office, receiving funding directly from MUSA, voicing opinions during MSc like what was very vocal earlier, which also influences the decision-making process of other MSc members, and running with the MUSA team, having the MUSA Monash, MUSA t-shirt, MUSA name cards and all of that, it's undoubtedly a fact that the MUSA editors are part of our team. Okay? However, due to the fact that editors do not have a voting right, it is believed that the editors are providing neutral opinions and unbiased stands. Right? This has come into question by the students, by the university, by current MUSA members, by past MUSA members, and I feel it's something that I should bring it up. That what is the extent of the neutrality? Now, if this is to be the case, to prove that, I'm not saying this is happening, I'm saying that to prove that I am neutral, I'm going to shoot the association in the foot and say, ha, I'm neutral. This is an example, it has nothing to do with it, it's an illustration. Now, however, the concept of transparency is definitely what is advocated by what Sam was saying last Friday as well, and it's something that we should support. We should remove the curtain and let students know what we are doing. That is definitely something that we should support. And any organization that aims to be neutral should work separately from the association. Now, for me, I feel Muse is more neutral than MUSA editors, mainly because of this. I know Muse takes money from CNS takes money from MUSA. I understand that. But the proximity of it, for example, right, it is harder, and I'm sure it is, that the Muse editors, or let's say the Muse people, they can definitely say it better that they are neutral compared to MUSA editors. Can you imagine if the MUSA editors were to wear the MUSA t-shirt, can they go to somebody and convince that I am neutral when I'm wearing the MUSA 20117 t-shirt? You get what I mean? So I'm not saying that anything else, I'm saying to distinguish between transparency and...
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, control on ah.
No,
Come on.
Can on and off only.
No, the one that cannot control is the knob of how
Temperature control on
small.
Triggering what?
So, you guys get what I mean? The difference. So that's all I'm saying. Any thoughts?
Just one
Yeah,
question, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, one question.
Yeah.
If the motions task for editors were voting right, but for camera editors they refuse to accept the voting right, will we still continue? Like, will it affect next year actually? Because like for camera position, like for example, like for they want voting right, but it means that their department reject the voting right.
Right.
So will it? So next year will we have a voting right also, or
No, you see, this affects them, so they have to abstain. They should not influence decision making.
in the end of the result of the
Yeah, it will affect 2018, not them. Because all of this is for 2018 and not them, not us.
Actually, I'm just thinking that whenever we run motion, shouldn't we run for something for our year instead of next year? Because basically they can just veto it and say, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, they can. But the thing is, right, this in turn affects how, because this is, okay, for example, let's say we make a decision, right? If it's a decision operational today, then it's operational today. But let's say, for example, remember the 10th MSc one Chadi? When he talked about sharing position, that means the next time it comes to that question is the next election, which is almost an entire year later. So right now we could also veto that decision and say the sharing position can be either 1 or 2 or 3. We could do that. You get what I mean? Yeah. So in terms of that, it is subjective because this right now you came into the picture knowing that there's no voting right. School reps came into the picture knowing that each school has 2 voting rights. Shared position came into the picture knowing that they have 1 voting right. But if we change this, it has to come from the next time there's an implementation of that vote, which is the next time the next person comes in. But so I'm just using the previous motion as an example.
So can I ask you, like, why did you only think about this now instead of from the first MSc itself?
Okay.
So why did you only decide to, like, editors have voting rights now instead of in the beginning of the semester?
Okay, so because I had to do my research because I don't want to simply just propose something, right? Second, I didn't know the extent of the issue until it had repercussions on. Because for me, I didn't know what's the difference between neutrality and transparency. I thought it was the same, but I had to wait for unless it became an issue, which it sort of did.
Can I ask what the issue is?
Okay, so a lot of MUSA members, not only now, but he has brought up to me recently as to the fact of the neutrality concept. Okay, so it's end with the university because the university feels that they voiced their concern that how can you post certain things like this? Okay.
Recently,
recently, because obviously it started. Okay, I'll be completely honest. It started off for the first MSc onwards, but first MSc was like nothing. I mean, it wasn't really that. I mean, it should have been just one article, so it didn't really. But after that, it continued, and then when they asked me how can you post something like this, I said they are neutral. And then when they said how can you be neutral when it's within the organization, and then that's where the conversation kicked off. So I had to do some research with regards to how it's done elsewhere, how it's going to affect, such like that.
Yeah, but I don't think so. It's something to do with neutrality. So I think it's just purely transparency about what the articles are about. Like whatever I write in my articles is just a reflection of what happens in an MSc. So I think it's just me being transparent.
Right. See, the difference about that, right?
So
See,
like, I mean,
you feel you're transparent, right?
Yes.
Okay, which is true. I feel you're transparent, but
So
not everyone.
Why would
like
that
Yeah,
bring up the
and-
whole idea of neutrality
and
when
in
we're
which
just being
regard to-
transparent?
You said how can we post something, but regards to which one specifically?
Okay, so number one was the. I know it was a joke, but it was the one where the. Was it the places to get home run or something like that?
Play baseball.
Okay. So that was a concern from the HSC side that some of the places were restricted access. It was very secluded. It could pose risk to other people. That's around.
We admit that's a mistake.
Right. So then after that, it actually came from your interview also, Sam. When you got interviewed by Radio
Right.
Max.
Okay. Right.
And then you said that we are completely neutral, we are separate, we just get our funding, and we don't promote MUSA's propaganda. I feel, none of us are, changing anybody's, yeah, that was like what was conveyed. So that kind of escalated that.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
Wait, I want to know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that escalated it to a point where even MUSA members were like, did you read the Radio Monash article? Not only current MUSA members, previous MUSA members. And I didn't know until I googled Radio Monash and Sam Go. Then I realized that was that.
Okay.
So, like for example, right, if you were to write something, let's say you were to write something, and you say you wrote it based on your neutral stand, that's completely off. Because what is neutral to you may not be neutral to me. But when you remove the curtain, like what Kevin was saying, is that when you're transparent, you're just saying what's happening. So what I'm saying is, run on the flag of transparency, but you cannot run on the flag of neutrality due to the fact that the proximity of the MUSA editors to the MUSA. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, 31st.
I'm just wondering, I'm taking the video for example, like the video of MSC. It promotes pure transparency without bringing the neutrality topic into account, because there's no way you can bring the neutrality topic into account where it's unfair or anything, because it's pure transparency. So is there any way where editors purely work towards pure transparency without taking, like, when they do things, they are just on the concept of pure transparency without people bringing in the topic of neutrality? Is that way to work towards that?
Yeah, Sam first up.
I mean, the job of an editor is to report what has been done, what has been said, etc. So, yes, they are part of MUSA. It's like every other board has an editorial team. But all they're doing is reporting things. So that doesn't really affect, I it's a bit.
No, you see, right? I understand your frustration. But you see, like for example, right now we are live, right? It's complete transparency. But the fact that I'll use sorry Andrew, to use you as an example. Okay. Like for example, the motion for allowing MUSA members to rerun again, right? He definitely voiced his opinion that they should be allowed because they are experienced and all that. That means that he did not have a neutral stand when he was live.
Because he's also a student and he has an opinion. I'm not saying that, just because they have an opinion means they have to have the right to vote. It's just what they feel.
Yeah,
it's
but
like, oh, okay, I don't think they have the right, but it's up to y'all. If y'all give us the right, you can give us the right. Y'all don't give us the right, y'all don't give us the right. At the end of the day, if we just, I think for them, if they feel there's no need for this, they're just going to abstain the whole way. So there's no point in giving them.
I just like to say I didn't say that I'm not here to not spread MUSA propaganda. That was a statement from Radio Monash itself. Said, so what I'm getting is that Monga is less of a propaganda for MUSA because as a student it's easy to think, hey, I'm here to spread MUSA propaganda. I didn't specifically say that we don't spread.
And what did you respond to that?
I just say a better way to work with is to put it, we work with MUSA, but not really under MUSA. Which I guess is also from my perspective very easy to interpret differently.
Yeah.
But I didn't say that we don't. How do you put this now?
Spread propaganda.
Yeah. I did not say that.
I mean, but you get the context of it.
Yeah, but I understand. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, the context. Yeah, now.
I think the most simple-minded assumptions of why there is no neutrality between there is no assumed neutrality between editors and MUSA is that they are referred to as MUSA editors, even in this motion, and they do work within the MUSA office. So maybe they could still keep that neutrality if they operated outside of the MUSA office, or if they operated not under MUSA editors, but under a completely different name. But then again, there is the issue of them gaining funds from MUSA.
Right, but see, even like Muse gets funds from finance get funds from MUSA. But the thing is, right, the proximity of it, they don't have a MUSA t-shirt. You see, there's no way me wearing a MUSA t-shirt I can say that I'm completely neutral to MUSA. You get what I mean?
So the only way for them to be we are completely neutral is to work outside of the office.
For any organization to be neutral towards MUSA, it has to be working outside of MUSA.
Okay, could they still keep their neutrality if they work away from the MUSA office? If they did not keep MUSA editors as a name and they did not get a t-shirt?
If they did not run for the MUSA annual elections,
yeah,
then all of those factors that result in proximity, yes, that would be, there's no way we can reach complete neutrality, but we can get as close as we can get to that point.
So if they didn't run for election, then they would be neutral.
Yeah.
So would that be agreeable?
As close as neutral. Sorry?
So would that be agreeable to the MSC moving forward?
Then how do editors come about it?
I mean, there's that issue as well, but if they want to keep that neutrality, if those are the criteria that need to be met, then
yeah.
I mean, that's up to the discretion of the editor.
Yeah.
Like, of course now editors have the proximity insights, but you're giving them the voting right, make the proximity gap closer in the student perspective. Because like when you say transparent, they can be purely transparent now, but what if when they have the voting right, the transparency it seems and perceived as transparency because the proximity and you gain everything right, it's a little closer now. Although now they are very close, but by giving them that voting right, the proximity is even closer, which is perceived by students as more associated with this.
But like what you added earlier, could they work on providing tools to show that even if, let's say, Sam were to say 4 for something, it's just telling the students that Sam said 4. Because the live recording says Sam said 4. It doesn't say that he doesn't have to be neutral to say that Sam said 4 for the motion or against the motion. Because all is like what they've been advocating, that they're saying what is happening in the association. Now, if you can provide tools that show that, you know what, this is happening within the association, whether I vote yes or no, well, that's my yes or no. I'm just telling you what happened. Now, it has nothing to do whether they have to be gray. If they choose to be a gray area, then it's by choice. It's by choice. But this one is not by choice. You get what I mean? So, like what Now was saying, any organization that aims to be neutral should be as far as possible. But with the current way it is, it cannot be the case. With the current circumstances that are there.
But to see transparency is regarded without neutrality, means that even if they were to get 2 voting rights, that closes the gap between them and MUSA. Even if they report on anything transparent, it is still MUSA voting and not them.
Right. But you see, it's perspective. How many students out there know that MUSA editors have no voting right and therefore they're neutral? Has any student actually gone to a point where they realize that who has the voting right? Oh, MUSA editors don't have voting right. If MUSA editors don't have voting rights, oh, they mean they're neutral. It just means that they have no. To a normal student, this is not something that would be pondered upon why they have no voting right. Then they're going to ask somebody why they have no voting right. MUSA editors have no voting right because it's neutral. It's supposed to report. It doesn't go to that point because it is not of interest. So interest is what is on the surface, and what is on the surface is what it is. Is what it is. But with regards to, let's say, Kevin writing up a write-up about this, whatever we're talking about today, right? If let's say what you say is like, okay, perhaps if you have any clarification, please view our online video or whatever. So if then let's say the student feels that look, we are not you are not transparent or you're not neutral about it, they can just go online and check it out from minute 5 to minute 10 or whatever. So they have the ability to check whether you are really transparent or not. So it puts you, Calvin, on a mandate that you have to make sure that you're transparent because you have proof that it's transparent now. I mean, you have proof to support that that is transparent. So that's that. Okay?
So what?
Yep.
By giving the voting right to us, what does that actually hope to accomplish?
It hopes to accomplish the understanding that there's a difference between neutrality and transparency. And what you all are focusing on is transparency and providing tools that enhances transparency between the student association and students and the university. That's it. Okay. You get me on that? No. Yeah, Tiffany. Yeah, Tiffany.
What is your real intention in this?
That's
or
the
your real opinion about this?
That's the real opinion. Yeah. That's the real opinion. Is to show that transparency and neutrality are different. You are completely transparent, you promote transparency, and you provide tools for transparency.
You only realize about this when the admins talk to you, right? Is it?
Yeah. I mean, not say admins talk to me lah. I mean, it is a compounded effect. It's not just the first time the report comes in. I mean, I can't take it as such a serious issue. Like what Kevin asked, why did I take it? Okay, Bianca, go.
Motion 12 for MSC to accept that MUSA editors are part of the association and grants the editors voting rights as they are part of the association as a whole to promote and advocate transparency. 4.
That's right, 8.
Against.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Abstain.
1, 2, 3.
So far it's only
Yeah.
Counting.
Against that.
No, missing one.
That's the one.
One.
Against or for? Against. So the two editors that voted, you all voted as editors or
Juma told me what she wanted, so
she voted for?
against.
Junman.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She told me this now. She knew what was coming, so
Oh,
she told me.
okay. And you voted as well, fine. Cool. Done.
For MSC to accept President's report. Accepted by.
Oh, the
Seconded by.
wait again.
Seconded
Hey,
by.
walk your hand down lah. Good, it's getting again. Okay,
Seconded
one.
by.
Again.
Seconded by.
Terry.
Before we end this one, just to clarify, since the motion is not carried, what we can do from our part is we no longer preach on neutrality but transparency. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we can have makan.
Yes,
Yeah.
dinner break.
Oh yeah.
It's 8:50, come back at 9.
Dinner break 10 minutes. Okay, go.
Okay, hi guys. So I'd just like to report on the meet. So this was held on the 25th to 28th of April, and we did not receive a lot of participants, but that was understandable because we weren't expecting a lot. For blowout night, blowout night was held on the 5th of May on Friday. The number of participants we expected about 80. We limited it to 80 participants, but due to high demand, we actually increased it to approximately 120. So 10 ringgit deposit was taken, but it was refunded to them on registration for the day itself. We requested F&B and security to turn off the lights surrounding the sports center at approximately 8 p.m. And luckily there was no reports of any injuries, and the event was quite a success. And after the event, because it was still dark, we had to clean up to the best of our abilities. And post-mortem was carried out during the daily evening. And there is a possibility that we might have this blow-up night again the next night. And Franklin would like to inform that he would like to revoke the motion made during the fourth MSc. So he mentioned that we are representatives chosen by students, and if students are not happy, then it is our job to make sure that they are. He notices that we have received a lot of negative feedback from the students and with regards to the motion and some of the reasons why the motion was passed. Because some of the buddies weren't actually doing their work. They weren't actually at the place that they needed to be during that time, and they just kind of took advantage of the fact that they were planning to spend time with their friends. So, and also one of the main reasons why this motion was suggested was because that some buddies, because they don't have prior or proper obligation towards the whole buddy itself, they are less controllable. So rather, or put it in a nicer term, they will not really follow instructions. So therefore, he would just like to revoke this, but he's also spoken to the activities department, and every one of us has agreed that we will each be leading a separate department for a week, but all buddies will be taken from the student body of Monash itself. And he would sincerely like to apologize the change towards the buddy system, the motion itself. He felt that it was a necessary motion just to make sure that the whole week went smooth. Thank you.
For MSc to accept activities report accepted by just pick anyone.
Me.
Jasmine. Seconded by Mountain. Next is women's officers.
I'm supposed to say I'm sure how to change this.
Okay, so we have two things to talk about. The first is the sexual harassment violation discrimination complaint form. So we realized that we brought this up in the first MSc with regards to like the whole official complaint form and the procedure, but we realized that there was no official complaint form drawn up previously by previous MUSA members, and that there was no official procedure for the filing and reporting of any sort of sexual harassment violation or discrimination. So in light of that, we have drawn up two official forms, both serving different purposes. So we have two forms. The first is the sexual harassment. The sexual harassment violation discrimination complaint. So this form is for the victim of any sort of harassment violation discrimination. So in any case of such harassment or whatever, these victims will come to our office and they will fill out this form. So this form is basically asking like, like what happened, what sort of harassment happened, if they can identify the perpetrator and stuff like that. We also have another form, which is called a follow-up form. This form will be used in the interview process. So in the interview process will consist of primarily the victim and the women's officers. However, they may choose to have the OHSC representatives of the OHSC department as well as counselors to be present during the interview. Yeah, so we also realized that at the end of the day, we are just students, we are not experts, so we work very closely with the EOHSD department to handle such issues effectively. Yeah.
Okay, a small question. However unlikely, what if a guy is the one that's being harassed?
Sexual harassment is sexual harassment.
Okay, but do they still go to the remote officers? What if they're not comfortable talking to
Then we'll get them to talk to a counselor.
Refresh your page.
I have like a wording to not be properly done. Have you guys better do it?
Yeah, we placed ours of multiple templates, and we also set it to OHSC. Yes. You made it.
I mean,
Oh.
where
We'll print and we'll have some. And if I think we should probably do it outside as well, because if we're not in, then we need easy access to it.
Once this form submitted, then what do you guys do? Like, you guys engage with police or anything, or get the students?
No, we don't engage at any external person. Even if they come in regards to counselors, right? We don't engage unless the victim wants to. So the agency is put on the victim side. We don't decide. It's like if they don't want to report it, okay. So there's so the form is to document that it's happened, okay, and there's a lot of okay. It's really important to document that an experience happened, even if there's no follow-up action that has to be taken. It's important to note that this harassment has happened, even though that okay. Let's say they make a complaint. There's no proof that it happened. It's so worthy to know that somebody made a report against this person. Then there's a second report and a third report and a fourth report. It's definitely something to consider. It's the first step to tackling the problems of sexual harassment on campus and violations of anybody's body and personal space and rights.
Last question. But if you guys feel like there's a need to take action even against the victim's will, would you guys do? Because
It depends. Okay, because like if they make a complaint and they want it to be anonymous, we're gonna have to respect that. It's not our duty to breach their privacy. When we receive the complaint, it's been made clear to us that okay, Jasmine and I are just students, right? So we obviously lack certain specific skills to deal with this towards the end. Okay? So the moment we get a complaint, it's been made clear to us that we need to engage with student services, OHSC, and security all at once. So it's with them advising us that we will follow up with the student and take following steps.
Perhaps a clear protocol of addressing this concern. Like I think this is like a collection. You're collecting the concern, right? The case, but perhaps a clear sort of protocol of how you're going to do it. Like right now you're saying it, right? Perhaps like in black and white how that's done. But even like like a chart kind of thing to show that these are the procedures and these are that. Then perhaps it's easier for the follow-up process, because if you understand very clearly on how to do it, years down the line, that time may not understand. So perhaps a very clear one would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think when we said follow-up form, it's because when a case of sexual harassment occurs, people report it, it's very unhealthy to the victims to bombard them with a lot of questions and kind of invalidates their experience with that. When you go and you ask them for specifics, they feel very overwhelmed and they're like, maybe I shouldn't even have reported this at all. So first there's a form just to say it happened, these are the very basic details. And the follow-up form it's not like a follow-up process, it's just a follow-up form in which we talk about it in more detail and try to. And that one we'll do very cautiously also as to not bombard the. I think it is necessary to have a protocol, but this is just the first step of like making the form and like accepting this as like a new part of the women's portfolio.
Just one last question. If I know someone who might need this but they don't want to, but can I do it for them?
You can't fill out a form on behalf of someone, but I send it to you. And if you think it's a serious thing, then you can make a report like with us, you probably can't fill up the form, but you can talk to us about it and we'll see what we can do within our jurisdiction.
So we might run a motion today, we'll like confirm it and then make it black and white and then run a motion subsequently.
But sorry, wait, we can, it's not about the records, but accepting the
form.
The form itself.
I think the form only is fine, but like the protocol, you can have another one.
Yeah.
For MSC to accept women's officers' sexual harassment, violation, discrimination complaint form for
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 21. Okay.
against.
Simone is not here. Right.
Okay. Then Ryan, you have the time,
Do you accept our sexual harassment complaint?
Yes.
So
22.
22. Against.
0. Abstain.
It's missing one.
Yes.
Is that all the voting rights here? Okay.
Yeah, that's 24.
Sorry? Now they have found it, no?
Yeah.
I did. Okay, sorry, again, 4.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, Shamila, I think.
Motion is carried.
Okay, so the purpose of this report is about the Monash Women's Futsal Tournament. It's just to inform. So on the 6th of May, I think, yeah, we had a inter-university futsal tournament. About 4 or 5 different universities participated, and there were 7 teams in total. This was a collaboration with the Monash Futsal Club, even though they weren't able to provide any some financial support, they couldn't. But they really helped with the organization and provided us with a lot of extra support and things like that. So the purpose of this tournament was to encourage female participation in sports and to allow to foster more sports participation and also university collaboration. And this is a picture. Okay. And yeah, so it was played in league format. So basically all the teams played each other and then there was a point system and the team with most points won. That was Team Monash, by the way, so thank you. Okay, most of the event went off without any glitches, except one major glitch, which was that it started to rain really heavily, and the indoor futsal court got flooded, really badly, shin deep, ankle deep flooded. And obviously we had to stop the event, and thus we had to move 70 to 100 people to Sports Planet. And that was also an unexpected budget expenditure, so we had to have an emergency consultation with treasurers, but it was good.
Yeah, but overall, I think based on the feedback that we got from the Monash students and from the external teams, the tournament was very well received. And despite the hiccups, I think based on my experience, I think our team did a really good job in handling the situation efficiently and making sure that the chaos was very much reduced.
Even though the chaos in our team was okay, we need to do this, and it was super busy for us, but outside they really didn't show. They were oh, you had this plan all along. And we were yes, that's correct. Yeah, that's it.
Alright. For MSC to accept women's officers report accepted by. Seconded by.
Nelson.
Huh? Thank you.
Can you walk over? Are you tall enough? I can't quit.
So we had our inaugural MUSA forum on 12th of April, which is week 7. It was held in the car porch. The opening speech was given by Professor Andrew Walker, who was very kind to actually agree to it. It was followed by the MUSA President Janesh updating students on the event initiative that has happened over the upcoming
over the time and the upcoming ones at that point. And then after that, the floor was open to students to ask any questions. Students will ask questions, will actually receive subject cookies from us. And moderators are actually also there to keep the flow going as well. Most questions were answered by MUSA president, some being answered by the relevant MUSA members, for example, like Dr. stuff. Overall, the event was a success, and we would like to thank all MUSA members and some committees who attended it. Oh yeah. This is an update about our EAC funds. As of 8th of May of 2017, there are a total of 3 schools that are being stopped at EAC funds. Namely School of Science, School of Medicine, and School of Pharmacy. For School of Science, it was for their industrial trip to Heineken. They used about 534 ringgit 50 cents. For School of Medicine, it was for their Toastmaster presentation workshop, 365 and 80 cents. School of Pharmacy was 800 for their first aid course.
We had another student initiative. It's the Model United Nations Conference. The event was held on the 21st and the 23rd of April, which was the end of mid-sem break. It was organized by MUN Club in Monash. There were many hiccups with the tutorial rooms were booked, but it was not unlocked and stuff like that from FMB side. But it went on pretty well. And there were also issues where our caterer did not give us enough food for how much we paid and how much we budgeted and stuff like that. It resulted in some of the delegates having to go and buy their own food. It did not really look too good, but not to take from the same caterer. Total expenses were 9,981.15 and revenue was 7,417.
Change later on, 7,471.
Okay, overall the event was a success and we would like to thank, it was very last minute that we got our supports to help, we also got support from different departments to help, the two of them were there. Thanks, from us, okay. So thank you so much for helping us with the event. It was 3 days and it was very tiring because it was day to night. Next student initiative was incitement that happened on 25th of April. It was basically, so like how, for TEDx, you just go for the talk and you get inspired kind of a thing. So incitement is more of like action based. So if we held it at the plenary table, and in front of the plenary table we had booths of NGOs. So where students are allowed to go and ask NGOs about their activities and stuff like that, and you can sign up to volunteer and so on. Then they go for a talk and get more motivation. There were a total of 3 speakers, Adeline from Pretty Vision, Mr. Patrick Lee from AMI Group, and Miss Suzanne from Preacher Project. The total expenses were 1,254, revenue was 600. The event had lower turnout than what we expected. We actually, we wanted to do it in Audi 1, but had to change the plenary because there was not many people that signed up for it. This is due to the change in the speakers that were supposed to come. There were constant changes, so that caused people to kind of just like lose interest. And we'd like to thank the students for organizing this event. Okay, so these are the only few things. However, for this week, there are a few things I would like to inform students. First of all is that as it was promised about TEDx, VPs are working together with President as well as our school reps. So far, we have already applied for the licensing. It will take about 8 weeks for it maximum of 8 weeks for us to get a reply on that. Second of all is about the merchandise sales. So basically, what happened is that, as you guys know, merchandise sales is postponed to semester 2. Sadly, I would like to explain everything that's happened because I feel students deserve to know. Basically, we were supposed to receive the merchandises on the 6th of May. 5th of May. And we were supposed to start it on the 8th of May until the 12th of May. But we got a call from the supplier saying that it's not possible. So it got postponed to 12th of May. Then again, there was another delay. Delayed to 17th of May. Then again another delay. So when the delay was on the 17th of May, which was the Wednesday of week 11, we were going to sell it 2 days, the last 2 days in week 11 and the first 2 days in week 12. But that could not happen because there was again another delay. So we thought that instead of risking it, because we had first banners, our first posters were up, first batch of posters were up, and students were confused because when we get into week 12, we had students coming to our office asking us when exactly are the dates, and also like the poster was on all the desktops in the library. So we thought that we did not want to risk it because the supplier has not gotten back to us when exactly we're getting our goods next week. So we thought we will only do it in semester 2 instead. So it's not fair to students. One of the issues were because the weightage in the document and the weightage in the packaging were different. So they are working on that. Yeah. Yes.
Those students that are transferring or graduating will be asking me these questions.
We are thinking of a solution because not that they can't buy, but who's going to batch in costs?
We may consider, like for example, we are opening the sales to Johor School. So it's sort of pre-order. They will kind of pick it up themselves from uni. So we may consider doing that for exchanging students or last semester students. We may consider. We will try our best because it depends on when exactly we're getting our groups. And we'll definitely prioritize the current students first.
Roughly, can you have like an exact date or date when you guys will be having the sales let's send? Because like on Facebook, me and Char, we're receiving a lot of like, you guys have like die-hard fans for the hoodies where they will ask me every single day like, where are you promoting, why are you not promoting? And students from like Mafi also, they know and they are willing to walk all the way over to buy.
Mafi can buy
I don't know, they say they want to give their friends and stuff, but then they say that's why I joined this course more and quite set up, but then they say,
Yeah,
you want to be the first to be trained, so roughly when?
We released a statement last night. So we promised that we'll have at least 2 merchandisers next semester. The first one would most probably be on during orientation week or week 1. It's one of these. The second one will be for October intake. And we may have, if the demand is overwhelming, we may have one more in the middle of the semester. But we'll keep you guys updated, but definitely beginning of next semester. I'm really sorry for the trouble, guys.
Thanks to Roxanne for giving
Yeah, I think we emailed them like 3-4 times for the bookings. So thank you so much for the inconvenience. I think Barry for all the inconvenience. Any more questions? Oh, don't buy from the supplier again, guys.
What's the supplier?
Hyrex.
Hyrex.
Yeah, repeat the word one time.
Okay.
Okay, for MSc to accept Vice President's report,
Samantha.
Hey! Second by.
That's it, so Brandon.
I've lost my touch.
Thank you, guys.
What's up, man?
You scroll. Okay, hi. Okay, first thing, certificates. They've been printed, and thank you to Tiffany and the editorial team for coming up with the beautiful design. Okay, 2,000 copies were printed, and MPVP and CNS have requested for their specific numbers, and yeah, all the slips have been signed for this semester and they've been distributed. This had to be amended, obviously, for the signed here today. Next is late reports for MSc. Okay, as you all know, I do not tolerate late reports. So what happened was 2 departments, they wanted to submit their report, and because they had something very important to say, but the fact that it was submitted to me very late, I will still not tolerate it. So what I propose is that from now on,
if the issue is important and has to be presented by this MSc and say like the next MSc is just like too late, what happens is that after this MSc, they will be allowed to send in their report. They will have to email all of us, so you guys get to know what they actually have to say. So what happened to these two departments is they received a global warning and yeah, please don't read it.
Will this be the students have access to the link report then?
Yes, I'll put it all together in minutes or something. Next. Annual election, as mentioned during the emergency MSc, works for the annual election are underway. The list of potential returning officers has been passed to my department by the president to filter through, and hopefully we will not go back to you know who. And should students that are interested in running for the annual elections approach MSc members, please be aware that there may be subcommittee members that want to run for this, and because you're already close to them, so it may be easy for you to speak to them. But bear in mind that this may be an advantage to them because you're close to them. What if it was a student who is not your subcommittee and they are afraid to approach you, but they still want to run? So bear in mind that all members all the students who wish to run for the annual elections deserve the equal opportunity. So bear in mind, if your subcoms were to approach you and ask for information, do not be biased, and yeah. Lastly, the Media Administrative Committee. This involves my department, editors, and publicity. I would like to propose for our meeting to be held in either the 24th or the 25th of July. Please liaise with me and get back to me on suitable data, whichever you guys prefer. Right? That is all. That's all. I see to accept my report, accepted by wait. Again. Accepted by Brendan. Okay. Thank you. Second by Gerald. Next, treasurer's.
You can't accept your own report, right?
I still don't agree to you.
Brendan, right? It's not. Brendan, Gerald, right? Yeah.
That's why I was
I'm sorry.
Media Administrative Committee.
Oh, yeah, we're coming.
Hi YouTube.
Okay, anyway, yeah, it's just to clarify about transportation claims, because we noticed that a lot of departments have been asking in the WhatsApp group and been coming to ask us personally whether they can claim for transport. The good news is yes, you can. So we're gonna make it fair to everyone and just to clarify some things up. Alright, so for daily usage, such as MUP, as you guys know, they take a lot of Uber or GrabCar and basically public transport to their NGO's destinations. So therefore, we allow 100% of the total pay. But let's say the student is a volunteer driver, then you can only pay 50% and 50 cents per kilometer. Yeah, so that applies to all the departments as well. If you drive yourself and you want to pay for metro, you can only allow 50 cents per kilometer, which is actually more enough. Yes?
So it's like we went for triplet to cover triplet, and it was in some PJ place, right? So we can claim for that.
Yeah.
Oh, must it be from Monash?
Yeah, it's from
so it's from Monash to there and back.
From Monash to there.
Okay.
So how we do this is you guys have to print out the map, showing that let's say you're from Monash to this destination, and then we'll take the kilometer and times 50 cents and times 2 weight.
Okay, we'll send you a map. Thank you.
Yeah, we just want to be fair to all the departments, because some of the departments are claiming and divisions and some are not. So just tell me guys, okay? And yeah, if you take Uber or GrabCar, this for the departments, and it's a one-off usage where you go to Mighty or Giant to buy stuff, then you only allow 50% off.
Yeah, so on the claim.
That's I don't know how to do it. Yeah.
How do you specify one-off usage?
It's like, let's say you have an event, for example.
Yeah, like one for event, let's say Monash Ball, right? For example, they need to go to venues to check out things and everything. Then that will be a one-off usage. But for MUVP, it's not a one-off, it's the very essence of the
club.
The club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they travel like most of the times that they go out.
If you're going to supply to buy things and come back, which one does it fall under?
It's one-off. Yes. So indirectly, we are actually encouraging you guys to run yourself.
Save the planet.
It's more than enough.
Yeah, we calculators.
Yeah, it is. It's more than enough.
On average,
But whatever they claim, it has to be like you go out to do like MUSA stuff.
It's because your car is not working, that's all.
Okay, so therefore we added this sentence.
Brendan.
Oh.
What about toll?
Yes. Very good point. I forgot to put it in my report, but yes, you can claim for toll. You can produce a physical receipt. Or like
Touch and go if you go. Touch and go if you go online, you can get your full list of what you've done.
You can get a full list.
So
then I guess you guys will have to tell you with the route that we are taking to that place, right?
Yeah, definitely. We'll check through the toll, which toll you guys need. Yeah. Okay. It's all. Yeah, cool.
whose budget?
Exactly.
Whose budget is all this coming from?
Is it the president's budget?
No.
Your budgets, right? Their respective budgets.
They are respective.
Also, we claiming from ourselves, lah. Okay.
But at least can claim back some money, some form.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's subjected to case by case basis, and the final decision again lies on the MUSA training. Yes.
What if subcoms? Like we're not sharing our subcoms are the one going over to report. So yeah, subcoms can assist.
No worry.
But will you be checking with regards to, let's say for example, like they're supposed to do that, and you have to check whether you're really supposed to do that for that task of a MUSA job, right? So that's how you get through that.
Yeah, that's how it's also one of the ways to keep us in the loop as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Sorry, I have one question. You said you guys will take the next right? So let's say if I travel to Singapore, you guys have the right to reject my claims, right? Yes. You have to give a proper justification like why you travel all the way to Singapore.
For your own personal use,
Yeah.
or is it for MUSA?
If it's for MUSA event,
Johor.
But I doubt there will be a MUSA event in Johor.
Come let's host an event in Johor.
Yes, Terry? Okay. The one you pay for president lah.
Hey. But if it's further when we cannot travel by car,
I think that would be very much in your budget proposal in the first place. Because
Yeah.
the ticket prices.
survey the place.
I don't know whether that would be. Yeah.
Wait, you want to survey Bangkok, is it? I don't know.
Hey, that one you ask movies will give you one ticket to Bangkok.
Let's not go there lah, okay. But yeah, if it's somewhere really far and requires, or you are fetching a lot of people, then you should have included that in your budget proposal in the first place. Yeah. Okay. Okay? Okay, that's that.
Yay.
No more questions.
No more.
So I'm asking to accept treasurer's report. Accepted by?
Brandon actually.
Brandon, come on. Accepted by?
Brandon. Accept.
Seconded by?
Again.
Seconded by? Seconded by? Harry.
I'm out.
Wait, I don't know. I got it.
What is that?
Okay.
What is
up, guys?
Finally, we're recording. Hi guys. Yeah. Hello. So sorry, we're supposed to have like done this like last week, but kind of sending it to me. Sorry. We had our right. Okay, so we had our t-shirt design competition, which lasted for. You can read. Okay. So we had 5 submissions in total, and what's this?
That one got anything.
You're right, wrong. Okay. So winning design chosen already. The shirts. Just to give you all an update. The shirts have been in the process of printing. Unfortunately, it won't come by the end of week 12. It will only arrive on a Saturday, which is like next Saturday, which is very sad. But we have yet to release a statement of when you all can come and collect your shirts, which is from sort back to the end of February. And then the winner was Solima, and she has already taken her gift. Next is movie night. So this is the first. I think it's the first time that Seth has tried the movie night, and we're very happy to say that it was a success. We watched Beauty and the Beast at PGV Service Pyramid. About 30 plus 33 people were art students, but the rest were filled up by other friends or whoever or people not from the School of Arts. Okay. So yeah, this is we're very but all 50 people went, and there was nobody on tickets. So yeah. Never mind, I don't read it. Yeah, you have to read yourself.
That's not
okay. Yeah, but that's for now. Okay, so
And for MSC, the
Sam, you wanna go home tonight?
record, accepted by.
You wanna go home tonight? You wanna go home tonight? You wanna go home tonight?
Second by.
Hey, you're not going home tonight.
Justin Bima.
Justin.
Tak boleh balik.
SOB.
Okay, guys, so sorry. I know it's getting late, but please respect the person who's being presenting in front, because please don't start forming cliques and just like talking, because it's still recording. It's still an MSc. Okay, thank you.
And why are we not getting the claps that School of Arts
Okay, we had our School of Business movie night on the 3rd of May. At 6, we watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and a total of 192. We basically booked the hall, which we kind of felt like it was a mistake, but yeah. We booked the hall for 192 students, and yeah, overall it was a success event. We looked so tired, but okay.
So we had the School of Business t-shirt competition and pre-order, but the whole thing was done rather in a rush. So for this time, it's only about like 170 designs that was keyed in. So for next semester, we are doing it large scale. We're probably going to do it during orientation itself. So not only we're going to sell it to seniors, but also junior, right on the spot after. I mean, we, of course, not forcing them, but give them the choice to buy during the orientation itself. So yeah, we were supposed to use the supplier that the Vice President had, but we canceled it out. So thank God. Shout out to our supplier, which is Mr. Allen from City T-shirt Supply. The stock actually reached in 4 days itself. 170 pieces reached in 4 days. How effective it is! And then the payment is done only during delivery. Okay, so do get the contact from Sean or us. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then we also had our NBC and SOB speaker session. It's a collaborated event. The initial plan was, the event was 2 days, which was 27 and 28 of April. The initial plan was to have 1 day for SOB and 1 day for NBC, but we had some issues with the crowd for SciWe. We couldn't actually attract the crowd. So after discussing with the respective parties from SciWe, we decided to postpone the event. So the event ended up being only on the 28th of April. We had the CEO of Student Co to come. It was a pretty informational session, and yeah, and we also kind of subsidized the snacks for the event as well.
The next being that scope business lecturer and staff office map. So this is something only happens for scope business because we have a larger staff office, right? So we constructed the map for a student. So when we're trying to construct the map, we realized that the FMD actually they have done constructing it. It's just that it's a more tedious and complex version. So we kind of use it and modify it to a simplistic form, and it's down there. So yeah, you guys can have a look, but I feel that it's not advertised properly. So yeah, so publicity, you know, like it's week 12, so can you just help us now? Okay, thank you very much. To inform students to consult the lecturer before they actually fail a subject. So,
Okay, yeah, another one was SOB and MEC affair, also another collaborative event. Okay, yada. Basically, okay, frankly speaking, it wasn't much of a success.
but we will not call it a failure either.
It's like an eye test. Okay, so yeah, okay, frankly speaking, the SOP and MEC affair wasn't as successful as expected. Mainly, okay, we kind of admit that it's kind of mainly our fault because first things first, it was poor planning, and because of poor planning, we didn't have much time to promote the event. But honestly, overall, the vendors who came and opened up the booth were really great. Yeah, we also had prizes for like booths with like the best marketing strategy, distinguished product, and best booth decoration. They were given out hampers, and we also had like voting boxes for the students to vote. And overall, we had like about 20-something vendors who registered, but throughout the event itself, we only had about 8. Yeah.
A lot of them backed up last minute because of the wrong timing. It's our fault, you know. We tried to pull it through. We were not supposed to have it in semester 1 because we messed up the EMR. We were supposed to do it way earlier in the semester 1, maybe week 4, but we messed up the EMR. But we insisted to make it 2 times a year for students to go out there and actually cherish the experience. So for this time, we don't want to call it a failure, but it wasn't good. So, but we view it as a learning curve because we definitely know, like how do we plan properly so we can have a boost. What do you guys call advantage during the next semester when we're doing the planning. And besides that, I also think that like it's a fair. I've mentioned it to Mr. Deva. We feel that we have to do it the beginning of the semester, right after all the bazaar started, because our event is actually our event only comes after 2 major bazaar that was set up in our event. So these students are actually, students coming to this bazaar were expecting the bazaar to be as same as this external bazaar, but because we're students, right, we don't have experience. It's very hard to live up to that standard. Yeah. So yeah. Also, one thing about this is. As much as we would love all the students to be able to profit from this event, but the nature of business doesn't allow it to happen, So at first, some students were passive, some students were aggressive, and then those ones that are passive indeed make a loss, and those that are aggressive make a profit from it. Yeah, and also we were actually bridging the gap to have more collaboration with other business clubs. I mean, yeah, we call it as what do you guys call as a first pace collaboration. So we had our SSLC. In our SSLC, we basically talk about final examination paper viewing. So at first, the School of Business, the final paper examination viewing only released the 3rd week, maybe the end of week second week. But we kind of like request them to push it further to week 1. And then they're currently in the midst of processing it, so students get to have their exam viewing earlier in the semester. And then for extra exam sheet, for this one we have to kind of like inquire about it. So yeah, for the extra exam sheet, right? Because in exam, if you are writing the second piece of paper, you will have to clip it, you have to stuff it in the middle of this original sheet of paper, right? So what situation that we had is a student, she was saying that she submitted the second piece of paper. It's just that paper one missing. So she said that she could have gotten a distinction for the subject. But just because the Monash authority, she claimed that the Monash authority lost the paper. So she wouldn't be able to get a distinction. But after interacting with all the lecturers and head of department and all those, we realized that the second piece of paper was nowhere to be found. So we are not trying to accuse the Monash authority, the school of business CMO, nor the student. So we thought of another simplistic framework, which is just as simple as stapling two sheets of paper. Because in exam they don't staple, right? If you guys can recall, they just put it in the middle. So it's very susceptible, it's very vulnerable for this kind of situation. So I just want to ask, when we are in the committee, we were asking them, they say it's a good initiative, they strongly support, it's just that they don't have the jurisdiction to do that. So do you guys know which party can we disseminate?
According to them, we have to bring this up as a council together with the exam unit. So I would like some inputs from the other reps. Because like the fellow was really upset. So and she didn't state on the first paper that she used 2 booklets. And the booklet went missing, and she was really upset about it, and there was nothing to be done.
There was nowhere to be found, the paper went completely missing.
And according to the CMO, this is like the first case they've ever had, but things like this do happen, you know? So like we try to...
We don't want to point fingers to anyone,
Yeah.
so just as simple as stapling it.
Yeah, I agree.
So where can we disseminate sort of like
Or is it possible for VPs to propose it to the whatever?
So the exam is written in a booklet, right? And if you need an extra sheet of paper, they give you a paper or booklet. They give you a second booklet.
Yeah, but it's not stapler, it's just...
But there's a hole on top, right?
No, they don't tie or anything.
She was probably, you know, like how sometimes you rush and then you realize you didn't write your name and you just rush and like submit. Things like that do happen.
So we were thinking if writing down the number of booklets that you use, making it compulsory, there's going to be a lot of students that will fail. Because probably a lot of students would not know about it, they might forget. So we don't want things like that to happen. Don't make it compulsory, so to speak. Yeah. So do we express it to the CCC or just like...
Because I remember if they were like, oh, if you are using more than 2 booklets, you have to write.
Yeah.
They are actually doing this to prevent this kind of thing happen. So if this really happen,
yeah, so it's very very sad lah. But you see, like if we make this compulsory, it's gonna be really bad because a lot of students, or if it's unfortunate, it might happen to ourselves, you know.
Just like how if you are doing the paper, you didn't really just feel like it. Because it's really reminded at the start. If the invigilator did not remind, okay, there's something wrong with that. The fact that they reminded, it's very difficult to change the system because
So now we're actually not proposing a system change, you know. Yeah, it's just a precaution. You just imagine, okay, let's say if you happen to write and the second piece went missing, you have to redo again. It's also unnecessary inconvenience, you know. So,
it's just a stapler.
Yeah.
I think.
Or as simple as string applying them to like
Yeah, I think it's such a small. I mean, such a small thing.
Yeah. Because even if you state in the booklet,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could write it like
maybe like what you say, like,
yes, that's why it's something as simple as
people request for more than 1 paper or
you give them booklet and a thread.
booklet and a thread.
Yeah.
Maybe they say
But right now the question is like, to whom do we bring this forward?
Academic.
Examine
I think you guys want to discuss it. You know better. Okay. So yeah, just let us know if it's required to write a report.
Is there a specific, sorry to ask, is there a specific like exam?
So is that examination?
I think there's an
According to CFO there is.
Yeah, because they send an email to us every time.
Yeah.
Special considerations.
Yeah, they could be more relevant to this as compared to the television committee or the given us on. Because it's very, very specific to examinations, maybe you can try pushing at us.
So this report, I directly send to and then also the scope business lectures office map. For scope business student, do take note. Do you guys know that it's actually a QR code in CFO where you can scan and you can look at the map of the office?
Yes.
You guys know? Okay.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know about that, so we requested them to put more QR code around the CFO and also to put our version of the map into it because it's much more simplistic. And then the last one being that so we start with the scope of first. The facilities first, overall Monash University facilities. So the thing about a tutorial lesson is you guys can go into a class and realize that the projector has broke down or maybe the screen or the computer is not working. So what a lecturer would normally do is they spend 5 minutes figuring out how to fix it themselves and then call the FMD and wait another 10 minutes for the people to arrive. So the class ended up being delayed for 15 minutes. So in the SSLC form, we have a lot of complaints regarding all the tutorials class that are breaking down with projector and all those. We address all of them just one by one. But instead of stuff happening like that, all the resources of students are putting into waste because when they go to tutorial class, they are not actually utilizing it because it's only like a 45 minutes tutorial because of the 15 minutes break. So Mr. Suraj was in the FMD itself. He was talking about, when we were asking him, he said yes, they do take immediate action. Doesn't matter students or if a lecturer contact FMD, they will take immediate action. But it's just that we were also told that the overall maintenance of campus facilities is only done twice a week, which is once every semester. So I was just thinking, asking your opinion, do you guys think it's quite little where we can increase it to a higher rate?
I think for our school, as long as we are using the actual LP system, it also keep basically it's not our like sometimes projector they are on, or sometimes even the projector they don't access, or sometimes like this. I believe that maybe the maintenance work
because once every 6 months is very little.
Building 6 specifically has a lot of
that's like tutorial like sometimes also happens. Yeah. We bring out the SSLC like we even because like right now the Moscow pharmacy itself they have a F&D complaint form, it's like direct to the head of department. So one student fill in, it's direct to them.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So we get approval by them and they say yes, they can do it, but it's just that we need to say to them because like it's like the complaint form is CC to us, to them, in the same time to the help desk. So it's like they will take immediate.
The head of department of what? The head of
under I forgot. I just saw the email address and then I text them, I send them, I tell them that you will be doing this, they say yeah, and just like CC to help desk because help desk is the platform where they generate the tickets.
Okay.
So it will be easier. But then the thing is like if what we are thinking, yes, if we request them, they will have immediate action. But what if this keep happening?
Yeah, we gotta put it in the long term.
Right? It's like maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't have proper resources to maintain the entire school, maybe they could pay a little bit more attention to problematic areas, which is pretty much the entire building 6.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe instead of doing everything once every 2 weeks or doing every day, blah blah blah, maybe they could just pay a little bit more attention to it.
Because for what based on SSLC, right, based on the school, right, they say this kind of problem, it's not that the school itself can bring up, but it will be more effective in the MUSA as a whole.
Yes, exactly.
Because we are more to the client.
Yeah, true. So, yeah. So do you think if we write what is a justifiable report and give it to you guys, it's something that you guys can help us to work on? But probably we can do it during the semester break, the final coming up, you know. We want to make sure the report is a well-written one.
Do you guys have SEC meetings?
SEC.
SEC.
No.
How much do you have?
We have, but it's not every year they choose one of the representative for year 4.
Oh, engineering can go and complain about all this one. And then the head. Yeah, so
we have meeting with the entire academic of School of Engineering, and also we even meet the heads of F&D, OSHA, security, all the heads of admin to see in the meeting.
Yeah, maybe you can ask to go for the event.
I don't know why School of IT rank is not there, but School of IT are included in our safety and lab with it. Which is the one with OSHA.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the next one.
Okay, so for basically under business, there's one. So, Bachelor of Accounting. Basically, we've been receiving complaints about this course not allowing students to take up double major, because typically in business and commerce you're allowed to take up 2 majors at the same time. We addressed this with the CMO, and the CMO said that initially they didn't prohibit students from taking up double major. They just encouraged them, and basically the structure of Bachelor of Accounting is designed in a way that accounting has a few professional papers, am I right? So you have your 8 compulsory units, your 8 accounting units, and also your 4 professional paper units, 2 professional paper units. So there's only 6 units left. So unless you choose not to take the professional paper, then you can take out non-major. But to their thinking is that if you're taking Bachelor of Accounting, you already want to take a professional paper. So that's why it's not that they don't allow you, but they don't encourage you, because you are encouraged to take the 2 professional papers. You don't have enough spaces for another major. Oh, okay. And should you want to continue take up double major, and you will have to forgo your 2 professional papers and arrange it in a way that you have enough. Might as well sign up for a business and commerce. So yeah. And also all the previous data and complaints from our lecture hack was addressed well by the SSLC during the meeting. They actually emailed all lecturers one by one, and that was really, really efficient. So they provided us with all the reasons and things like that. So let's say if any students still have complaints, we have been personally going to the lecturers itself and have been really good feedback. So that's about it. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Bachelor of Commerce and
Yeah.
No, I'm taking the Bachelor of Commerce
That, yes, that. Sorry.
And for MSc to accept School of Business report, accepted by? Seconded by? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all your attention and focus.
Nice.
Engineering.
Hi, sorry, hello today, Florence is learning at GB. Okay, so this is the only thing we had. Our school of science movie night, second movie night. We got them from Guidance of Galaxy. We bought 53 tickets. 53 tickets sold out in Yahoo game. Yamaha game. 53 sold out, but we only 51 showed up, so we made 20 ringgit from that. Ayo, salah. So yeah. See the picture. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah.
MSc to accept School of Sciences report, accepted by?
Oh shit, again.
Accepted by?
Samantha.
Seconded by?
Again.
Seconded by?
Final report.
Oh, engineering don't have.
Okay, so we have our first aid course in April. We usually charge like 50 per student, but we decided to decrease it down to 40 because the participation was so great. However, in the end, only 32 showed up, and including Sean from Package. Okay. Okay. There was one thing we need to know. Next time you guys book the school, right? Make sure you have the number of the F&B person in charge, because what happened was that recently there's a first aid club that was formed, right? So they were having a first aid course on the very same day. So there was like a mix up of venues on the administration side. So in the end, but it was okay, quite quickly resolved, so everything went alright. But yeah, just get the F&B first number, okay? Alright, after that, what else? Oh yeah, thanks to VP.
Yeah, thanks to VP.
Yeah, thanks to VP for the 800 bucks. Okay, after that we had our movie night. Okay, we had our movie night on the 26th of April. We watched The Fate of the Furious, or Fast 8. And we actually initially expected 120 students, but in the end, yeah, we got it up. I mean, 162 people wanted to come, so yeah, we got tickets for all 162. And okay, in our recent SSLC meeting, it was highlighted that there are not enough functioning water dispensers, and most of them were not well maintained, and it was dirty.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we need to bring it up to them and change the filters or something, okay? So
You know exactly which one?
sorry?
You know exactly.
Just change it all.
Just change all.
Dude, even the tap and stuff is like rusty.
Some of the
I don't want to look at it.
No, some of the water dispenser tastes like what? Toilet water.
Yeah,
How you know what toilet water tastes like?
It's a good one. But yeah, so okay, good, okay, thanks, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
That's it. 1 minute 48 seconds.
Wait, for MSc School of Pharmacy's report accepted by.
Wow.
Again.
Accepted by. Huh?
Gerald.
Seconded by.
Again.
Seconded by.
Stand your head again.
Seconded by.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.